I'm alive. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed.
Welcome, Jackson, Mississippi, to Make It Make Sense. I am your co-host. No, I am your host.
That's right. That's right.
Keanu Perry, aka KP, aka Young Man, along with my co-host
Tariq Abdul Tawab. Finally got the man to say host and not co-host.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, I'm improving. You see it. Welcome to what, our fourth day
Our fourth day.
or the 5-day show. I mean, 1 week.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm fighting the end of the cold. We're counting down everything. This is our fourth day and our third week of being on there for you 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And this is, I want to say that this is unprecedented. Enough of our people don't celebrate yourself enough. And big ups to the young man. Everything that gets created, you don't realize is made. If we had a Made in Jackson stamp, we could just put on stuff like this if they knew what you did. But yeah, I think it's unprecedented, as a matter of fact, to have folks come up, especially a combination like this, to come to you 5 days a week. You know, on mainstream, we believe digital, thousands upon thousands of followers, international, local, national, 90.1 Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We're really coming to you all that, and you know, and we pay a price for it, as we tell you. We're gonna talk a little bit about that today, but
so you know, the 5 days it speak with value, it speak with volume also. You know,
value and volume. Yeah, I like that.
It speak with both of them. So, and you know, as we approach different levels of being a 5-day show, you know, there's a lot of people not doing what we doing, so we care about it way more than they do. And as we care more about something, we get more pushback from other people that, you know what I'm saying, respond to people not caring about stuff. Okay. So now it's like, okay, well, we finally got somebody that's starting to approach where I'm at, and I ain't really got no eyes on it. We got eyes on you now, partner. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we're able to look at it. And you have to give yourself. You see me. I'm always working, always typing, always looking for the next thing that's happening. And big ups to the young man that runs the engineering and helps us with our stories when they pop up. Because in this city, things change so quickly. In most cities, things change so quickly. In order for you to be on top of it, you have to be on top of it. Of course, today, you know, well, let's finish the start. We always start the show.
Well, I hope at least you've done one productive thing today. If you're not, try to go do something, make yourself feel special. You know,
cut the grass,
do something, pray, just lift yourself up, because especially living in the Jackson, I know there's a lot going on for everybody, especially somebody with my color. You know what I'm saying?
And upbringing.
Yeah, the youth.
Yeah.
And like always, we like to start the show off with a moment of silence. So if you can. All right.
Yeah, but this is a good one, and thank you, man. I get to talking first, and you got to pay the bills first, and that's what we consider paying the bills. We don't bow down to much, but obviously to our Creator and to the will of the people. I think those are two things we both can agree. We both kind of bow down to.
Yeah.
To our Creator, how we see it, and to the will of the people. We both are willing to bow to that. But to the young man's point, it just brings more and more, I think, into the forefront that, you know, at a certain point, and I tell these young men this all the time, and I'm gonna say to you all, and I say to him, KP, I don't think you understand the position you're playing in Jackson right now, in your city, where you grew up, where your people are from. I don't think that you understand the position you're playing and the value you hold to this city, because every day you're on air, and every day you're breaking down these real points that affect the city, and not just breaking it down, but helping grown adults to see things they didn't see before.
Yeah.
It breaks the whole stereotypes that our 14 to 17-year-old children that live in certain areas right where you came from, that the only thing that they can do is go work for someone else. Now you see that same product that you want to push into a job to work for people. You see that same product leading the field. When I say 5 days unprecedented, go to New Orleans, go to New York, go look to see a young man from that area and a man that's 20 years his senior, and then being able to match and uncover things and not talk bad or use any little tactics on anyone. We don't have to rap to you. And he's an entertainer. Believe me, he has skill set beyond the sets of which you understand. What I'm telling you is we don't have to use any of those.
Mm-hmm.
So this young man is here in front of his peers in New York, New Jersey, Carolinas, New Orleans, anywhere, because they don't have access 5 days a week. Not just that, they don't have the access. Once you get access is one thing. But like once you make it to the playoffs is one thing. But for teams to start headhunting for you like they did to Jordan and the Bulls, when the teams are trying to get you out of there and do anything they can to make you, that's where you find yourself at.
Trying to gag you.
Yeah, they'll do anything they can to get you off that podium. He's gone beyond being valuable. I'm used to this. He's gone beyond being valuable to now to the point where there's value to you not talking. And so, Jackson, you need to understand that when you become of value to be quiet, which is when a lot of our leaders get paid, that's where that cha-ching's at. Believe me, the being quiet pays you more than talking. I learned that, right? Being quiet pays you more than talking. So learn the truth and then shut up about it is a lucrative business. It's a lucrative business. And let me tell you something. Some of the numbers, I don't even get mad at my brothers for, listen, to each his own. I've done some things that aren't great in my life. They offered you a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm going to still slice you up, but I that's a hard choice, right? I got to give you that. This young man made hard choices.
I got skeletons in the closet too, but you ain't going to be able to bribe me for none of them.
And them skeletons don't involve selling out your people.
Yeah.
That's a difference. Those skeletons don't involve hurting your people.
At all.
Our skeletons that involve our offenses in our job, you stole something when you're younger, your offenses in your marriage you're trying to fix, those offenses are personal offenses. You've got folks that are taking down whole cities. I'm talking about our folks now, black folks, because their silence is worth more than their speaking. Speaking doesn't pay us anything. I put myself out there, but you probably tell by my shirt, Gabe. Speaking doesn't pay us much, bro. I was going through some shows. I thought it was like, I was trying to look for one. It was like 3 days. I was like, I'm trying to look for one. It's all the same shirt. Speaking up doesn't pay you much. I'm telling you that right now.
I ain't came up here with no jewelry. I ain't none of that. I
man,
had this jacket on a lot of times. I ain't here for no money, bro.
And that's why it's so important that those of you that claim you don't want to see violence, that when people are trying to get their lives better, and focus on someone like Councilman Stokes, just focus on him.
Yeah.
When he introduces ordinance, like this is an ordinance he said he wanted to introduce. If you've ever been accused of selling dope, you can't clean your image up and get work anywhere. So you can't be better.
Nope.
Well, how would our community ever get better if the rule is the state says, well, you're a felon? You can only work in certain places. Now, Councilman Stokes says, well, let's create another law that says you can't clean your image up and become someone that the community can trust, right? Because that's what cleaning your image up does.
Yeah.
It allows the community to trust. He's talking as if people are going out here like Nino Brown giving out turkeys and nobody knows what they're doing. What? That's not even happening.
No.
I'm being serious. Nobody is giving someone a bike and that person's like, I'll kill for you, man. That's the way it's being laid out. And that's actually what he used in an example. Just FYI. To push that bill, he said we got people out here giving young kids bicycles. Okay.
Well, like I said, I think it was yesterday's show.
Yeah, the days are starting to blur, huh?
Yeah. It's a lot of days.
That means you're getting active. Man.
But I said that Stokes he has a prioritization around street stuff, right? So a lot of the times you only see that's the only councilman on that council board that always is into the streets. If you notice that, right?
Yes.
He's always worrying about what's going on in the streets. He always, every time one of them known street guys come up there, they always know who Stokes.
That's right.
So, and he's always got these ordinances and these bills and all this stuff that's kind of bringing them in and telling them, man, it ain't like this no more. That ain't going on no more. I don't care. I don't want to hear it.
That's
You
right.
still a dope dealer. You still a drug dealer. You lying. At some point, you got to be like, hey, is you making money out of what I'm doing? Are you making money out of my struggle? You want to keep the street stuff going because I'm trying to change. And it seems like you don't want me, like you just said. He don't want you to change.
And you got to, man, you throw in there. Keep going. I don't want you to stop, but you throw in there some statements he makes up. You hog-headed bastards is one way, but then statements like, I don't read emails.
Oh.
When you merge that together, no, not different. I want you to keep going. When you merge that together with missing the deadline to push back against the 12% increase,
Yeah.
and you don't read emails, it brings bigger questions. I'm talking about when you talk about he stays involved in these streets, right? But you don't read emails and you're not following technology, which is very necessary to be at the forefront of what our citizens are facing daily. So if you've got millions of dollars rolling through there,
He's doing nothing for the streets.
How are you? So you're telling me every email that a constituent possibly sends you or someone you just say, heads up, Senator Stokes or Councilman Stokes, watch out for this. You're not reading any of them. You're not reading any email. No. You're just not touching them.
But when it's time to make an ordinance or a bill for you to get some revenue off of it, some type of vote or somebody abstaining or being for it, now you're ready to.
He's the first one asking, when did you see they got money for the summer jobs? He's the first one asking, well, when you gonna let us get some kids for summer jobs? To do what? Mr. Stokes to do what? You all heard him at City Council when they
Yeah.
talked about having money for the summer program. But when we going to get some of those kids over here to Ward 3? Well, what you going to have them doing, Mr. Stokes? I'm curious. Because you said the dope boys that were trying to help the young boys stop shooting, they were giving them bikes so they would keep shooting. So some of these kids from the summer program, what is it that you want to do with those kids? Because we don't see what you're doing there.
No, at all.
And a lot of these things, listen, you got to understand, a lot of these things that he's doing in his community, we don't talk about things unless they're relevant to what we're doing and what we're looking at. People have been talking, have been reaching out to us, and every time we move, well, we did a cleanup in his ward.
Yeah.
Right down the street.
And made him clean up after we cleaned up his ward. You say we lying.
Yeah, and I'm telling, listen, we talking to the people. You know, I'll see on these comments, and I'm not one to sit up here and stay on comments if I'm not giving some information to help people, right? Me going back and forth with someone, KP going back and forth, that doesn't do us much good, right? Unless we're giving new information. But you got people in there talking about Mr. Kenneth Stokes, the only one that stood beside me. And realistically, it's always like 2 to 3 people of the same people saying that, rotating the same people.
It's on video.
Yeah, and the folks out there, when we was out there talking about something, what did they say? You gonna have something at Bullies? This is what Mr. Stokes would do. He'll have something at Bullies where he tell you to come line up and eat all the hog heads and the pigtails you want, but then he'll have 10 people inside and they just stay there and eat it all up, and the 50 people in line just sit there and watch. And the whole point is to say you did something. I know people that work for the city that have told me directly, man, Kenny Stokes told me if you want to make it here, you just got to stay in the media. At least once a month, just hold a press conference. These are people telling me these things. When the public starts to trust me, and unfortunately, that's when folks keep pushing. And you see me coming on here. Someone wrote out the other day that had this headache thing on, and they looked over. They were like, make it make sense. What's happening? I said, nothing. I'm just, I had this little headache ice thing on, and you got to take care of yourself. But this is when the danger comes. When you start trusting us for one thing only, y'all not inviting me in your house. You're not saying take my first one. When you start trusting us to state the truth without fear, when you put that on our shoulders, we're going to deliver every time. And when you tell me one person says it, then 13 people say it, then the whole community, and I'm asking all of them, well, have you ever gone to one of these things and eaten unlimited? I mean, you know them, that's them 10, 11 people that Kenny letting inside. We ain't all eating off of that. It's a select few. When that keeps happening, just like the same thing when we started talking about the pedophile charges that folks used to talk about the previous mayor, when so many people start talking about certain things, then I'll put it out there and say, well, this is what the community's saying.
What's about Frank Melton?
Yeah. When we had the discussion, we didn't accuse him. We didn't say that we know this on a fact. This is a community-based talk show. Think Ricky Lake for Jackson, except we're not on the BS, right? That's the realm we're in. We're on time. We're not politicians. We're not set up. We don't have restrictions around us. We're here to talk like we're sitting at the gas station. We need to make sure that you're saying what we're talking about, but we need to make sure that. There's another thing I wanted to talk about was the golf program that they pulled off the agenda during City Hall. Before we jump into the water, there's a golf summer. There's a summer golf program for young kids here, right? That goes. It's been going on 30 years almost. The name of it. That's why you see me looking. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and I'm not looking at it. But it was 5 days a week. It was one of the programs that you get a lot of pictures from, right? And I'll pull up the one that's over that. But it was on the agenda. And I forget the guy that's over it. He pulled a Friday, and what's his name? His name was Steve Hutton. Steve Hutton, and he's over the golf operations at the golf course. And so these kids come out 5 days a week. And so what they want to do is they want to pull and it's not. This is just who did it. The issue is that in this situation, when you're talking about kids in there, that's something that we were looking for Stokes to speak up about as well, because this is something where the kids got 5 days to go out there and play golf, and we want to pull back one of those days because unfortunately they're getting in the way of people that are coming to play golf, and that's pissing me off.
What about?
And I'm sorry, that's starting to pay. Everywhere our kids go, they start to become a problem. And I know this ain't as big as the working and stuff, but everywhere they go, it's starting to be a problem.
What about what's it called? The Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
They're taking that away too, ain't it?
The Parks and Recreation,
Right,
absolutely. They're talking about taking that away as well. And yeah. It's what's starting to happen is everything. Our kids are starting to become a trading token. So they still have 4 days a week. I'm not jumping on the golf course side of it. What I'm talking about is, the fact that Stokes didn't speak up for them for that 5th day. Yeah. But this is the bigger thing right there. What's that say, KP?
What's on the screen?
Yeah.
Jackson considers eliminating the Parks and Recreation Department. Ordinance could eliminate Parks and Recreation.
And we posted this initially. We posted it yesterday, right? But let's play this and let's just hear it very quickly. And let's just see what this is, and then we're going to discuss it. Let's unpack it.
City officials are considering a plan to do away with the Jackson Parks and Recreation Department. An ordinance to do just that was introduced as a cost-saving measure at yesterday's city council meeting. The city's chief administrative officer says the city has already taken steps to consolidate parks and recreation with other departments. Park maintenance has been placed under Public Works, and other park services have been moved to the Department of Human and Cultural Services. The measure to eliminate Parks and Rec will likely be brought up for a vote at the first council meeting in May. The proposal comes as the city continues to grapple with the $23 million budget shortfall. The Mississippi Department of Public.
So that, I mean, it's a.
Lots of kids want a unique ride to prom, but some Seaman High School students took hot dogging to a whole new level. 13's Melissa Bruner and chief photojournalist Doug Brown catch up with them.
It's a prom story you'll eat up. The dancing, the dresses, the flowers, and the Frankfurter.
Are you kidding me right now? Oh my gosh, prom is tomorrow? What if they take us to prom? That would be insane.
Hungry for a different way to roll up to prom?
People take limos.
Inspiration struck when a group of friends saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
This is big.
Start talking about it when you come back in, okay?
So this could eliminate a lot of places in Jackson, possibly for kids like they just had prom, or just simply just having somewhere to be at and not be in these streets being caught up in this gentrification. It's like y'all eliminating all this access for the kids, and it's y'all pushing them towards becoming a prioritization around hard labor.
And I'm looking at one of these comments. Let's hope they don't find some way to rent that to Clinton, who was trying to get that land for some time, at Butts Park for some time, and Jackson refused to give it to them. Let's hope that's not at the root of this. Johnny Boy, you lose that mayor term for us, because the mayor, you have to actually take care of us. And Johnny Boy has been up to some sneaky things. And there's a comment where someone commented on there, Clinton has wanted Butts Park for years now, and Jackson has refused to give it to them. And then they go on to talk about a lot of the flaws of pushing shelterless people into our community, making sure the crime stays here. So, you know, to see somebody from Clinton talk about wanting that park, and to know that Clinton's been coming for it, and that Jackson, the previous mayor, leaves and those before him, have fought giving it to them, because those in Jackson want to build up things for Jackson, not to give it to Clinton, not to give it to Madison, not to give it to Ridgeland, to keep it for our own children, for our own citizens. So I'm glad you brought that up, young lady. And now let's keep a laser eye on that, right? Because sometimes when people get so comfortable, they'll call for Jackson's resources openly. These folks in Madison and Ridgeland, now let's add Clinton to it. And the ones that want to take over, not the ones that love Jackson, they're quick to say, well, give that to us. We'll take better care of it. Of course you will. They're not attacking your city. They're not draining it. They're not telling you when you vote white, you'll get right. You're not getting those ultimatums there. So, of course, and you don't have any power to that level either to decide what you want to do. You got to take the blow for it. People stop thinking that standing up and speaking is something that's free. Freedom is not free, and that's so cliche. I don't like saying it, but freedom is not free, and we really have to make sure that we get ourselves to the point where we know that we are not actually going to just be able to say what we want and stand up and not pay anything for it.
Just like the water, with this water, they're trying to take the revenue of Jackson. You know, we're at 89% of the revenue, the water revenue.
That's right, yeah, 89%.
So they're trying to take this our revenue, and they're trying to ship it out in subdivisions, like suburbs and stuff. Because they it's easier. They were saying like it's easier to put new pipes down. And what about the pipe that's already here?
What about
You know what I'm saying? You want to take our money and spend it on somebody else?
But that's what the shuffle is for Jackson. Right now, you see a lot of folks coming into Jackson and ensuring that they have the right to flow. And the water authority is the biggest heist of it all, but it's happening everywhere. Yeah. And that's just, I mean, when you talk about first off, why are we just here? Let's slow back a little bit. Who do you know that works in the city of Jackson, right? So talk to them first and ask them, were they given a gag order to not talk about it? I know that if McDonald's is going to stop selling McRibs, I'll know tomorrow if I've got a family member, y'all want the McRibs, you better come up here and get them. Now you're talking about someone that works for the city and the Parks and Recreation Department is being eliminated? What that means is, excuse me, what were those people doing over the last month? I'm asking that. What were the people that were assigned to Parks and Recreation doing over the last 30 days? I come from this type of background. So from an operations background, by the time they say something like this, they've already started the operation background process of it. They've already made the changes.
It's already in the
Yeah.
works.
So if you haven't heard anything from your loved one, then why? Are they having gag orders put on them by the mayor? Because we already heard folks from code enforcement telling us, well, look, we've been told, okay, right, we're not going to put you out there unless the cease and desist comes. We're going to point right to you. He told us, right? And we tell people that, right? Okay. Now you're seeing that the Parks and Recreation guy, we posted it. Isn't it ironic, you all? We posted it, and I think 30 minutes later, the story came out.
What, the Parks and
Yeah,
Recreation?
we heard from our community. Too many people been calling, telling us Parks and Recreation been shut down, and we ain't even doing that work anymore. Folks from the city calling, telling us that. So we posted, if you go look at our page, we posted at, I think people have been telling us, I think we posted it at, and I mean, it doesn't matter. We posted at maybe 5:30 in the afternoon, and then that story came out a little later, I think 6:30 that evening. So you have people that are realizing, let me hurry up and tell them before KP tells them. Let me tell them before Tarek tells them. That's where you're at now. And we could win on that. We could actually, so this water thing, let's talk about this. And I don't want to hit too much of it before the break, but let's talk about the aspect of our people and what they're getting right now. Before we even talk about the water authority, let's talk about the fact that right now, when you and I are going to schools and when we're talking to communities, we got teachers telling us that the hygiene is changing in the classroom because so many people are being cut off. So we're going to talk about this slowly. I should hit at everyone on ours. I usually supposed to do that. We're going to talk about this one because this is the one that if you all don't start speaking up, they're going to be able to put. You've got teachers saying the hygiene in my class has changed noticeably. And in one area, you had 1,500 water cutoffs happen. I have reports of young girls going into the bathroom on their menstrual period and using the water to clean themselves because the water's been cut off. You got 4 or 5 kids in these places, right? And I know the people that just don't want it to go this way. Well, did they pay their bill? We're going to talk humans first, and then we'll talk about what's happening because we've already talked about that for all this time. We got nearly $1 billion to fix the water system. When you can open your silly mouth for the first thing to be said, did they pay their bills? Then I know I can rape and rob you for everything you have. Those that are coming, I can take everything. If I come into your house right now, pistol whip you, and they say your son didn't give me $1, tell your wife to undress, and the first thing you say to me is, he didn't give you $1, and you got a gun in your pocket, then I know I can take everything from you. Because the first thing you should say is, man, I'm going to kill you for putting your hands on my wife. And that's what's happening in this city. You talking about someone paying a bill, and we got nearly $1 billion on top of what already rose in on the water.
Yeah.
And now we got our babies going to school, little girls trying to wash their menstrual period using a sink. And I've got 3 daughters, 3 sons, and I was raised with 3 sisters, and I was raised by a lot of other women, right? Amongst me. This is not a game. You having a wash like that at school is not a game. Not something to laugh about. And as long as you don't speak up, it didn't happen.
And nobody has made no uproar about this nationally.
No. We're going out. We have an appointment tomorrow. Let me just say that. Y'all react too much. I'm talking about the powers that be, everything we do. But they're putting barrel locks on meters in black neighborhoods. They're doing nothing but turning the key in non-black neighborhoods. Barrel locks around the key. You got people that are out, residents that have called me and said, I'm standing in front of my house. I've been billed for years, and I just watched them dig up an old meter because they turned off the Jackson water meter and my water kept running. I said, well, what do you mean your water? I've been billed off the Jackson water meter, and they turned it off to start the work, but my water's still running inside. Then they start digging in my yard, and they dig into clay and find the old meter. Well, how have I been charged all this time then? How are you all approximating anything if you don't even know what's coming into my house and being used?
They also said that if you have an old meter in your yard, you wouldn't be cut off. No, you wouldn't be charged. I think you wouldn't be charged and you wouldn't be cut off.
And this person, but how? And how are they estimating? Because this person moved into the house in the last 5 years. I said, when did you move in? So if you're estimating off of the previous person in a buried meter, you're not even estimating off of what that customer has used. And this is what they're being told. And yeah, the old water meters are locked into some of these houses. So, I mean, I looked, and then she said, no, this resident today where we were, she said that's not what angered her. She said what angered her, she asked the tech, and I was out there when the tech was out there. She said, I asked the tech, how do you even know what this meter said? And he said, because we read it. And she said, from where? And he said, from a tower in Brandon. These are the responses that our people are getting. He told her we read it from a tower in Brandon. No, that's not Jackson Water putting up a policy saying we did. That's a tech telling that to a resident sitting right in the neighborhood. Just like when that Entergy tech came to my house, I told people, and he told me that in Texas and everywhere else, they make the same gas leak technician come out to the same residence from the beginning of the leak to the end, because only he's seen certain things that allows him to solve it. He said, only in Mississippi do I see different techs getting sent out to a gas leak. He said, with gases, you have to use oxygen to see it. Whoever saw it the first time, they need to be there the second, third, and fourth time.
So it has to be the same.
And it does have to be everywhere else. He came from Texas. He said, I've never seen this before in Mississippi. This was right when we lost the sister's life. The elderly woman died, blown up. That's what he's here on, and that's when he tells me. Unfortunately, we didn't have the platform we had now, where it wasn't many folks listening, so we said it, but it wasn't.
So purposely, they tampering with the system.
They're cutting. It's called cutting corners. They're cutting corners. So the intention is to have the cheapest payroll possible. Because if I send the same technician back, I can't really rotate them through cities. Because what if I put you, KP, you went to the customer that died's house 3 months ago. Now I've got you in Texas. Now I got to fly you all the way back here. Well, I could just send another tech that's local over there.
They don't know crap about what's going on.
They don't know crap about what's going on. And I'll put their people's lives at danger because they're Black Jacksonians.
Because I'm lazy.
Lord knows. I'm lazy and their life isn't valuable. Well, both got to go into it. Because I'm lazy, KP, but I ain't going to let you die. White, Black, Chinese, I don't care. If that's my job, I'm not going to let you die. So that's beyond laziness. That's lazy, or it's weaponized incompetence.
Yeah,
weaponized incompetence. So, you had that happen. And the second thing, I think, and this speaks to what's happening in our city. I'm sick of people coming into this city and bullying Black people. That just go on and swing and do it. But the tiny homes, just briefly, in the second half, we'll talk about the water only. But the tiny homes, that part really bothered me again, too. Because community members have been reaching out about it. So whenever you see me look down, it's from a notes from one of our conversations. If you call me, I'm looking at our notes, and 15 of you all will call me on the same thing. But the homeless community, people really got mad because the young lady that was over that, I say her name wrong every time, but the young lady that was over that, now, let's back up. The Tiny Home Project was under the previous mayor's administration, Lumumba's administration, when they planned to create 60 small homes to confront homelessness. Now, first, I need you to understand that the numbers, we're not talking about transplant. When I talk about transplant, I'm talking about, what do you call folks that hold up the signs? There's a specific name just for that, pandering. Is that it?
Pandering? Sign for what?
When you're just holding up and asking for money. What's the term they put on it? Panhandling. Thank you. Don't let me drown. Panhandling. So first, understand that panhandling and homelessness are two different things. That doesn't mean someone that's shelterless won't panhandle. That's not what I'm saying. But you have people that travel from city to city and actually panhandle. And I'm not judging some of y'all do a lot more hurtful things to people in your jobs. So that was not a judgment on that. I want you to understand the difference. So Jackson has a huge issue with panhandlers. The actual the native homeless population is about 300 in Jackson. That means our folks here that ran into problems or mental health wasn't there. The native population and those coming from Greenwood and other areas that are it's about 300 to 400 or 500. But the native is 300 from Jackson. So that means if you're opening up 60 small homes and families are within these homeless populations, you potentially are cutting down 75% of the native Jackson homeless problem. I want you to first understand what John Horn and the city council canceled. So they canceled that.
This was the previous mayor idea.
The previous mayor, and I think that they just canceled it because it was his idea.
Yeah.
That's what I'm starting to think now, because this idea made so much sense for Jack. And you have to understand, look at these backdrops and these pictures. This is the things, these are the folks that are from here. You notice there's a difference between this picture and when you look at the folks standing sometimes in places like County Line Road and right downtown before you hit Flowood. You're talking two different people. Man, they steal so much from Black people. They've got white homeless people stealing Black homeless people's money. They steal in Mississippi so much from Black people. They use white homeless people to steal the money meant for Jackson's native homeless population. So this was the article. The idea was we're going to house 60 families, right? and we're going to cut down the pot. They took that 2.9 million and they gave it to a agency that does studies called Clutch. That's what they did with the money. So they canceled a plan that would have housed almost 3/4 of our homeless population in Jackson. So when you ask, why can't we ever get anywhere in Jackson? I want you to say the city council and Mayor Horn canceled the plan that was going to help our homeless population. And you know who really needs to speak up? Some of you that have coach, and there's so many coaches here. You did all the people that have helped us when we opened up the gym over at Sykes, and we tried to help folks. Like, we know so many folks that are our people, just put it like that are looking for a place to stay, man. That hurt my soul that they canceled them 60 homes. And that's why I keep bringing it up. I mean, you need to know it, but 60 homes. You know somebody. Remember when Pearl, shout out Pearl, we used to go around doing giving out water and different things. Yeah. And she bumped into a young man that she knew in high school. And he was in the trash trying to get food out the trash. And she went over there and was like, stop. And she was like, Tar, come here. We buying chicken. We're going to side wings and then we're going to buy him some food. And she said it. She told me. She didn't ask me. Oh, that's what we're doing, Pearl. We went in there. We bought the chicken. And when we came out, we sat there, her, and another superstar chat. We sat there and we talked and we cried. And she talked about the fact she went to school with him. And she knew he had taken some bad drugs. And ever since then, he wasn't able to get right. And she knew where his people lives. And she just wanted to make sure he ate every day. These are the people that those homes are being snatched from. That young man would have had a place potentially to call his own through all the problems. He already got community surrounding him like her and other people. Half of the people in the community knew him. We got each other. You just keep taking away every freaking gain we make.
And potentially those people in those homes would have tried to help other homeless people.
Of course they would have helped other people. But hey, look, I built myself up. You can come stay with me as long as you're peaceful. I built myself up. You can come stay with me as long as we're peaceful. That's what's being yanked from us. So on the second half of this break, we're going to talk a little bit more about folks that shut these plans down and how some of these homeless resources that are supposed to be coming to our folks are going to white folks that don't live or don't come from Jackson. We're going to talk about it at every level. But you need to make it back to the second.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into MDOT grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
To make it make sense, Jackson. I am your host, Keanu Perry, along my co-host
Tariq Abdul Tawab,
and we are continuing to talk about the tiny homes as we were before we went to break. Right?
Absolutely. Before the break, we were talking about the tiny homes, and every time those numbers pop up, screenshot it, write it down. They're popping up throughout the show for a reason. Everything we're talking about, we're not talking to hear ourselves talking and make you think we know everything. Mm-hmm. We're talking to make these conversations turn into action, pushing our councilmen to do what we want, and that's going to be the last tale of the show. But the tiny home project, quick backdrop, we were talking about the tiny home project that was set up to house about 60 families, which potentially could have cut down 75% of native Jackson homeless population, which sits at around 300. We talked about the type of people that fit that population. And we talked about the fact that Mayor Horn and the city council canceled that tiny home project. And then, Mayor Horn canceled it, and then gave that money to a Clutch, who's an agency to study homelessness. So Let's stop the plan to house the homeless. 60 families locked in, 3/4 of our homeless population no longer homeless. Let's move on to the next. We're going to cancel that and instead, Clutch, come here. Let me give it to this woman, 2.9 million. Now, you tell us what we should do, because Mayor Lumumba wanted to give them houses to cure the homeless problem. That's what he thought was cool. Him and Paloma, they wanted to give them houses to cure the homeless problem. So we're going to take that 2.9 million, give it to you. Now, this is the problem. When they had that meeting, they didn't invite the young lady that came up with the tiny house idea. They invited Stu Pot, they invited Gateway, they invited all the other places, but they didn't invite the young woman who has spent years with the city of Jackson studying how to resolve the homeless, who was still willing to help even though you had canceled the whole project she was over. Now, look at how it's handled. Remember when you hear me say that only in Mississippi do you even see white homeless people being put in a position to take white homeless people money, black homeless people's money. Look at Gateway. You think I don't talk to the shelterless people there? See, you think the community is just you and the people you deem worthy of being spoken to. That's the community, and we over there talking to them as well. And you know what they telling us? They telling us we're being treated differently as homeless people because we're black. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? This brother goes into a full story, but it was his brother that wanted to go home, and they wouldn't let an employee take him home to Macomb. Mother sick, mother could die, wouldn't let him go near his mother. They sit up there, one of the brothers come close to tears while he's talking about it. They wouldn't let him see his mother, and then they violated his paroles, saying they found drugs in his system, and the man was on medications that could have been cross-referenced with those drugs. But they didn't care. They sent him back to finish a bid that had years on it. I'm not going to say the years because I can let people know who he is. That had years on it. I said to them, well, wow, that's unfortunate, my brother, but what is the difference in the way you're treated? He said, man, you don't understand. There was a white boy, same time, had the same issue, had charges sitting on him, sitting on parole. Not only did they tell him he could go see his people, one of the employees drove him to Madison, took him to check his mail, and then when he got found with stuff in his system, they sent him to Clinton to a drug program. Make it make sense. You getting robbed for everything. You can't be home. Remember when there's that story about it? It's a little joke about a black man being on a bus and there's a fly sitting on his face and he just leave it alone. And the white man next to him say, man, there's a fly. Let me just hit it. And he snap on. God, can I have anything? Leave the damn fly on my face. I can't have nothing without you trying to take it. And I got told that by grandfathers when I was young, and I'm going on 50. Grandpops, I see you up there. I know what y'all talking about now. I didn't know it. I thought y'all was extra. And I'm a student. I thought y'all were extra. White men want to take everything, even a fly. And it's not all white people, but it's those that define themselves as white. They told folks from Germany and from Ireland and from Slavic and from Italy and from all over the world, you're white now, in the 1800s. I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to people that came from places like Ireland where the English used to rape your bride before you could get married. Now you got these foolish Irish police running around talking about America the beautiful, and you don't even understand your history. You're a clown, and the true soldiers in Ireland are laughing at you now. That's why you never go back home. That's why you got to stop letting people turn you against other countries. Man, I don't like the Irish. No, you don't like these turncoats, these clowns over here. You're not talking about the IRA or anyone else in Ireland that fought for power for their people and fought against oppression. You're talking about the clowns. But usually clowns stick together. That's why a circus always has variety.
Yeah.
A circus is never all lions because they went and found a clown out of there. Went and found a clown out of the bicycle riders. Went and found a clown out of the basketball players. Now they got all the clowns on the field at the same time, making a mockery of the true giants. So we're seeing the racism go all the way down into it. And that man, the last time I saw, they said he still hadn't seen his mother.
You said his mother was dying.
Yeah, he said his mother was sick and he was worried about her dying, but he still hadn't seen her. Now he's back in East Mississippi for more than 2 to 3 years. Let's put it like that. More than 2 to 3 years.
So it's not a guarantee he will be able to see her again.
No, it's not a guarantee that he's going to be able to see her again. And that's the type of difference that we're seeing. It's starting to just get too deep-rooted here. It's starting to just go too deep-rooted and too far down. And it's everything in our city we're getting secondhand. We brought former Chief Owens on here. He talked about how a captain's being pushed all the way up to fire chief. He talked to you about how many positions that passed. I'm talking to people about the Easter Sunday fire at that house in the Tougaloo community, not Tougaloo, the Tougaloo community. That community was talking about it. And the community said they witnessed, and it was a house built by Funches. It's on Vine Street. The community said they watched the fire trucks responding and there was no water in them fire hydrants. That's why the house burned down. See, stuff you don't know what's behind it, go talk to the people and they'll start telling you what's behind it. You thinking it's just an old house that's been built for some time. The house was built in the 40s. and it was still standing to this day. I just thought it was an old house and it burned down because it was too old.
When was this?
This was, oh man, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but you remember, Mr. Funches built a house and it was built in the 40s. I don't remember when that fire happened, but folks remember what we're talking about. In the Tougaloo community, not the Tougaloo house. And I think a lot of us thought that it was just an older frame and it built down because of that. So now imagine we're in that community and the community members are telling me, no, that's not what happened. You crazy, man. You don't know what happened. Them fire hydrants ain't had no fire. And then they drove from there to look for another fire hydrant. And then I'm sitting up there saying, well, how is that happening? And then you realize that Hennepin is the one that has to give you account of the fire hydrants. If you look up Jackson Waterbury report up, they told you how many fire hydrants are working, how many fire hydrants were not working, and how many fire hydrants needed to be fixed. But you know what we didn't see on that?
I mean,
where they were. So that means when your house starts burning, God forbid, you don't know what's going to happen.
They gotta look for him.
And what Mr. Funch's family found out about that help built in 42 was there wasn't no water, according to the community that was standing right there. I believe them over any report. I say it every time. Send a cease and desist. I wish you would, because it's going to open your records too. That's what a cease because I'm going to stand by mine. I'm going to show you exactly who told me. I'm going to go to court every time I'm going to show up in court. And what you don't understand about it, well, you do understand. That's why none of y'all will bring it up. Is that you got to open up and tell the judge why I'm defaming you. So when I say John Horn got campaign donations from slumlords, the reason I don't receive any cease and desist because all you got to do is go to the Secretary of State website, Michael Watson, pull up his campaign records, and you see Chip Triplett right there. Put Chip Triplett's name in. He pulls up all the park companies. Put park companies in. You see all the apartment complexes throughout the South. Now we see the shootouts in Greenville. Now we see where all the shootouts. Oh, I see. So when Blossom shuts down and you say, I can't do nothing for 5 days, Negro, you lying. And you'll never tell me to desist from that because you know and I know you are. We both know you sat on the chair of the Housing and Urban Development, just intelligent enough to understand what you heard there. We both know you sat on the peer review board. You sat over and you looked at Mississippi Housing Corporation, Sean Spivey, and you wrote the report to legislation to say whether Spivey was doing the job or not. When that young sister spoke up at Chapel Ridge and said $2 million where? After Sean Spivey said, I dumped $2 million in here, we fixed it up. And the sister said $2 million where? And Sean Spivey got mad, almost spit on her. She don't know what she's talking about. And you sat quietly. When the moment came to you and said 17 schools are shutting down, can you help me? You told him that ship has sailed. I was at Dueling Hall and I stood up and asked you. God bless those that don't hide. I stood up and asked you that. Now the folks are seeing what you're doing. Now the city council is talking about, he didn't tell me, he tricked me. Make it make sense. City council, you all are grown adults. None of you all are getting spared because you played with these people's future. You went to parades, you threw stuff out. Grizel, you ain't answered no one's question, but you, Grizel, and Horn can go up to the Indian church and sit with Patel and with Singh, and you can go there. You think I'm not? You think that's okay, Brian Grizel and John Horn? That Surinder Singh said that Charles Hawthorne, while his daddy's standing there, that man put his life up against a six-pack of beer. That man's mother's there, mourning her son, and you said that, Surinder. You said to us, it's more than a pack of beer. To those people, it's just a six-pack. Man executed the boy inside of the gas station. All the witnesses in the store said the man didn't say a thing. He walked up to the young man, Charles Hawthorne, and I apologize to his parents for bringing this back up, pointed the gun at him and pulled the trigger. And this is the man that's advising your mayor. And this is the man who Brian Gazelle and John Horn decided to go sit at their church and make nice with them. I'm sick of being told to bend over for nothing.
This whole transition team full of money.
Whole transition team. Surinder Singh, that's one of them. You got William Herring, his mother overturned abortion. We got to start reading who these people are. Yeah. Gabriel Prado, he went ahead and he supported him, and he got the 1.5 million for Prado Law. That's part of gentrification. Who else is on this transition team? Person after person after person lining up to hurt this city.
Kane Ditto.
Kane Ditto, part of the State Street group. You see what they're doing with Jackson.
Walked all lost.
Look at Law. They just kicked them Jackson students and all these. I'm not going to insult you. They just kicked these Jackson students, JSU students off. Go look at that poster on there. Look at all them people from Madison and Richmond. That wasn't supposed to be permanent housing. Listen, it's temporary housing assignment. You're not used to talking to intelligent people. They were supposed to have a contract up to a certain point. All of a sudden, they started looking up and seeing grown men and grown women living next to them. If I put my damn child in the school and I think my 19, 20-year-old daughter is living with co-ed students from that school, and you pop a 50-year-old from a rich community, because they're the ones that do most of the pedophilia and raping anyways, the people that have access. That's what the Law and Order SVU show has proven. But if you put them next to these people and then they got to live with them, I'm pulling my child out of school personally. But first you did that. Then you told them before the semester was even over. Why are you telling them while they're trying to close their semester out and think, just know you got to get your key back. Hurry up and get your key. You know why they're telling them that? Because they see all this money coming in and what they can charge people at Waltham Lofts. Yep. That's why they're doing it. And these fools, unfortunately, these foolish black people jump in those comments. This is the overeducation of the Negro. Not miss it. This is the overeducation of the Negro. Because you're so happy that you have a fact, you're not even thinking about the context of that fact and how you're hurting your people by saying it. How many Negroes jumped in the comments? That's not supposed to be long-term housing. Missing the whole thing that they're doing. Missing grown men in there with young girls. Missing everything. And other people, well, this black man jumped in that post, and this brother kept it up there. Salute to you. We won't keep pointing to it. This brother said, well, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. Oh, damn, we don't need no enemies with brothers like that. And I'm not calling you an enemy. I'm saying that mindset, that it's okay to house our students. Won't you go ask the head of the company that runs that? I have a hunch who it is. I haven't been able to find out yet. Why don't you ask the head of who runs that if they sent their Lily daughter to Duke University and found out the next day that there was 50-year-old men living next to her, what they would say? I'll wait. What's good for your baby is good for my baby. But you push JSU out, and then Jackson State University, which we keep fighting you as your administration as HBCU. Ain't no question about what the school is, it's the body. But you see the IHL making changes, so you brought in a new sister. But what's she going to do? Ain't no honeymoon period. There's no honeymoon period here. Be careful. I do not know since I haven't looked at it. Step back and let me talk about generally. Be careful of people that are so happy with the position, they don't care about the impact. In Jackson, we've got to assume everybody's here just for the money. Me too. Thoroughly vet me. Go see if I got business somewhere else. Follow me all over. Put me in Michael Weston's site. See if I have business anywhere. Check my bank accounts. Ask them to pull my bank account and look at them. It'll be a little embarrassing, but it won't be incriminative. You know, to have $1 is horrible when you got this many kids. But you've got to assume everybody's taken from you. So this new person that came in through IHL, you done had all these people in there. Doesn't it look like IHL only accepts people they have a secret on? That's how it's starting to look to Tariq. Tariq's looking at it the way it looks to me. And I'm going to stop and let Tariq talk to you. It's starting to look like me. Do you like young boys? Do you like to step outside your marriage? Do you like to gamble? It seems like the IHL stands for in the hand liaison. Like that person's got to be in our hands. So as soon as we want them to leave, or as soon as they push back, we can simply come out with what we have on them. And that's what it's starting to feel like. So y'all are going to have to really heat that young lady up that just came in there and not let her sit up there and give any type of performative answers. That's no judgment on her. That's saying that in Jackson, there are no honeymoon periods. So if you're coming here, if you think about taking a job, we talked about Chief Brackley before she even took the position. If you coming in here, no, we're going to talk about you as soon as you touch down. We're going to love on you and we're going to hold you accountable. And they had Chief Brackley working security at the door. We don't like that. We don't think she asked to work security at the door at the city hall, but they had her as the Novocaine. Each time someone stood up in that city council meeting and tried to let their emotions came out, they sent Chief Brackley over there because she's a sister and people know they don't see her as an enemy. So we just love each other. So people were listening to her as you saw that Novocaine take effect. We started to suffer peacefully. It was a sister in front of me that was full of passion, and the chief touched her, and you saw that body fold, and you saw her just hope. I mean, you want me? I'm gonna put my foot on y'all's neck every time you sell hope. Now the foot on the neck, if you deliver, there's no foot. Chief Brackley, if you deliver, which I know you can with your background. Coming out of Virginia, and I've lived in Virginia, I've worked in Virginia. It's very hostile there. And to break up a racist ring in Virginia, that means you got the backbone, you're just not being given the information. You're being taken to bullies instead.
You're being given the money.
Yeah.
But you ain't been given the information, though.
And then they're giving you so many assurances, it's making us realize, oh, man, they're trying to make sure you left with the bag.
Yep.
Because what do you think is going to happen with all these apartment buildings they're shutting down, Chief Brackley? I just had to talk to you over the show because Nick keeps blocking the comments on the JPD site. Nick Lott, the Republican who only comes into Jackson. I talked to the community and I said, where did this guy come from? I know people may ask that about where did he come from? Let me do the same thing. The community said, man, Nick said, he don't come into Jackson unless a Republican here. He's the one advising her on to what you should do and where you should go. And they didn't think the people were going to speak up. You
Yeah,
saw
they
that
said-
at City Hall.
Yeah, and they also said it's, they haven't seen a contract like Brackney since Robert Moore. I think that was the first black chief in Jackson.
Since Robert Moore.
I think Robert Moore. That could be. That's his name, Robert Moore.
I think that's it. But the fact that they said that they have not seen a contract like that since the first black. Yeah. What is it that you and I don't think there's anything about Chief Brackney that says you shouldn't. Unlike Councilman Foote, who thinks she's too charming to get paid that much. I didn't see anything that would stop somebody coming from that high profile job.
It's just crazy to say that. I don't understand what made them.
Oh yeah, that's the old racist talk.
Yeah.
That's old Foote. See, Foote throws out those racist bells, and an old enough racist understands Foote's racist bells. So those racist bells are, well, you're too overqualified for this job, Negro. Oh, you want to go work over there in the field? No. You went up north and learned how to read, and you were trying to teach people how to read. You're too underqualified for that, sister. I could never see putting someone as charming as you over that. You're too underqualified. So bye-bye. Oh, you're homeless now? Yeah, but didn't you say you knew how to read? You're still too overqualified. Yeah, you're still too underqualified. So that is a proven technique of white supremacy. The White Citizens Council, that's what they were good at, learning how to push you out of jobs that way. So when Foote said, I just think she's too charming and she's overqualified. No, he was speaking to his Republicans. Same people he was speaking to when he said switch from Republican to Democrat to affect the mayoral when Lumumba was running and get him out of there. He was speaking to that crowd.
Yeah. He
He just slipped up and forgot that it comes. I don't think he cares that it comes back to the city. But that's just showing the outlook of your folk in every area. We're just losing in the fire, in the police side. And like I'm saying, when you keep shutting down all these apartment complexes, where do you all think the people are going to be put and why? They're going to push the people further into what they now call the Black Jackson. So when Mayor Horn says Jackson is rising, he means that legitimate middle class of Black people that are already risen. Let's be real. They don't need to rise. They've already made it. They own stuff, right? I'm not knocking you for owning. I'm just saying they don't need to rise. They're there. And for white middle class, and for all of the people that left Jackson because of the problems and now want to come back. That's who they already own property, they own their homes, and they could afford to go to another home, and they could afford to put all this stuff in storage. So that's who Jackson's rising for. So let's ask the question. Anytime anything goes up, something else goes down. If the water in the cup goes up, the oxygen or air left in it goes down.
Yeah.
Something always goes down. So as Jackson rises, you're going to push all these people into what you consider the Black Jackson. This is over there, St. Richard's, where the church, Redeemer's Church, is buying up all the schools over there. That's going to be blocked in the North Jackson. South and West, you are the real Black Jackson, like Baltimore. That's your area. So if you want to fight for something, go there and fight. Go to Poindexter. Get away from here. Go to Terry Road and fight for that area. But you don't fight for this because this isn't where you belong. So when you close down these units, you push these people in, and where does that existing violence go? It goes to the true Black middle class in South and West Jackson.
The Black excellence.
The true Black excellence. That family that stayed in Jackson because it's their home. That family that didn't run when the violence came, instead went out in the community and talked to the young people they knew and tried their best to stop things. See, people talk about all the shootings that do happen, but nobody talks about all the shootings that don't happen. We don't want to talk about that, do we? So when we used to bring up Operation Good and the fact that they had 60, 90 days in no shooting, even longer than that, when we talk about strong arms of Jackson, strong arms of Mississippi, and how many young men that were involved in violence are not anymore, when we talk about living with purpose, when we talk about these other different groups like Jacksonology that are pulling young people that were doing those things, some of them, and now they're not, no one wants to talk about all the shots that didn't get fired. You are Aesop's fable, man. I could tell you any story to rock you to sleep then. Because you don't want the truth. You want a story that explains why we can't get nowhere. But if you heard the real story that explains why we can't get there, like it's too many people with money shutting down truth, and that's why I can never get out. And it's too many weak men and women. And listen, I know what it's like for someone to come to you and say, that's the bag. I'm taking it all away unless you shut your mouth. There's no excuse for being weak. It's just a reality that that's what it is.
Yeah.
And only 10% of us get the chance to have a choice. Watch me. Only 10% of us, and I've been in some higher places, only 10% of us get a choice. When someone comes to you and say, hey man, you want to be quiet? I'll make it good for you. The other 90% just got to take it. Sit on that because you're probably one of the 90%. That's the way the numbers work. You just had to take what's come to you. You ain't been able to run on air. You ain't been able to jump up here and talk. You ain't been the chief executive officer of a huge company. You haven't been somewhere. The reason I know is because the 40 men that I started out with, I watched what happened through life. And the only reason that some of us made it is because other people jumped in and helped us. That's why I call people liars when they say they did it alone. You're a liar. It's impossible. And that's how we got here. So it's there was another, I'm all over the place because there's two on there. I think each of these stories, that's when we come back to the hydrants with no water. That there's another issue that we've got to look at. So we've got to go, you all got to go on that website, Jackson Water, and Henfin is the one that he has a site where he identified all of them. But let's ask ourselves a question. When you see that the house that Funchess built back in 42 burning down, right across from a city building, as a matter of fact, and this is the one that tells me how long is it until there's an abandoned, White Oak, I think there's an abandoned house that was abandoned but not broken into, meaning the people just moved out. They locked up everything and they probably moved somewhere else, but it wasn't broken into, and it burned down as well. And the reason we found that is because that community member said that's not the only house that it happened to. It also happened, and they pointed to other house. So now that's right across from a city building. So if that city building had caught on fire, it would have burned because it was old. It would have burned. So you think of some of the risk, and then you think this, okay, well, now I want to look at when that Funchess house burned, because to your point, then you want to look at, well, if the fire department knew that some of these hydrants don't have water, and Hennepin and Jackson Water are not telling them where they don't have water, they're just putting up how many don't have water and how many do have water, right? You don't think the fire department would go themselves proactively and check the fire hydrants, whether it's their job or not? That's leadership.
I mean, it's up to them to.
That's leadership.
Yeah, that's leadership.
No, say what you're gonna say. I'm done. That's why I was passing it to you. No. That's leadership.
It's up to them to know that.
Yeah, it's let me just be very clear. It is the water department's job to keep tracks on that and share it with the fire department. I'm not saying that's the fire department's job. What I'm saying is, once you have one fire and there's no water in the hydrant, then the house over White Oak burns, there's no water in the hydrant. Even if Hennepin is not doing what would be proper for you to know, at what point would the fire, I know Chief, I'm gonna ask Chief Willie, that happened to you, what would you do? And I don't like to ask people things in hindsight, but most people are gonna go check their own hydrants. Most fire chiefs are gonna say, y'all go check them hydrants.
Yeah.
Want me to tell you why they would say that?
Because
but let's go beyond that to just everybody, right? Because they should care, but B, what they don't understand, and Chief, big ups for giving us the rundown of how this stuff works. But usually fire trucks just carry enough water to put the fire out, not to save a structure. They carry enough water on that truck to put the fire out. So if one of their firefighters goes into a structure to save someone and he's starting to burn and they can't get to a hydrant, he could die. That's leadership. That's leadership. We're not even talking about the public. We're talking about your command, Chief. If you know that fire hydrants don't have water and you don't know which ones, and we know that there's only enough water on that fire truck to put the fire out. So that means if my firefighter's in that house and the fire doesn't get put out, I can't stop an extended fire. I can just put out enough to stop the one fire. So if it catches on to another house, if the wind blows, anything of that nature, if there's more wood than we expected and it's not average, I don't have enough, then my firefighter's in danger now. So the community members.
That would put them at a protocol to bring out more fire trucks, right? That would have to have more people out there, right?
In any sane city, they're going to freeze everything and say, "Why did you not know that fire hydrant wasn't working?" Yeah. Now it'll then go to Jackson Water because they're the ones that's supposed to keep track of that. And then but the fire department has to ask Jackson Water, and I think that's not a knock against Rashawn right there. That's wisdom. That's OTJ, on the job training, on the job experience. That's what that is, young brother. That's understanding the future. Something that a 30-year veteran like Chief Willie Owens, we could say this, I'm sure would have reached out and said, man, let's check them fire hydrants, man. We're not about to have another house that we lose. We done lost 2 houses now. Yeah. We're not about to have a third. Next time it's going to be a life. Let's go check the hydrants ourselves. Don't take nothing for the fire hydrant to go out and fire department go out and check it. Just because it's not your job doesn't mean you shouldn't have did it. And let's jump to someone else. The city council knew that they couldn't see where those hydrants were. So the city council is watching Hennepin and Jackson Water. They see the list go up. Jackson Water is doing what the third party order says they have to do. What Wingate wrote up, right? I'm a tow it to the. So our city council is getting paid to look out for us. So city council, you never thought for one time to ask Mr. Hennepin to include where those fire hydrants that are not working were? I mean, I'm just going to leave that for the community. You have to ask that question sometimes yourself.
City council be like, well, Ted Hennepin didn't tell us.
So you see how the buck is so right now you have approximately 360 hydrants are confirmed inoperable with an additional 738. I wanted to talk to you about the issue before we drop the numbers, because you might have thought we were talking about 2 or 3 hydrants. Tarek, you love to blow things up. There's a few hydrants off. There's 2 hydrants. 738 not found or missing entirely. Who's your councilman? Did they check on it? There's 360 hydrants confirmed inoperable with an additional 730, that's 1,000 hydrants, with an additional 738 not found or missing entirely out of roughly 10,000 total hydrants needed. WLBT, go look it up. All you all like to do is report on bad stuff. We're going to use you to make sure you don't try to say we're making up stuff. That's a WLBT article, right? So inspected or checked. So 47% have been checked. 3,160 are in service, and 1,000 are missing. And these numbers have been up, right? When was that? When was that article? That was. See if that pops up. So 700 are missing and inoperable. And residents say when you came to the Funchess house, that fire would have been put out somewhat or saved somewhat, but there wasn't no water in that hydrant. Then you drove to another hydrant to find it. Some say when you went to that abandoned house, the residents there say, no, there was no fire in that one either. And then I've called people. And then you just abandoned it at a certain point. There wasn't no fire, no hydrant next to it, and we just took. This is what happened when you move a captain all the way up to chief. This is what can happen. That's not a guarantee, but this is what can happen. This is what Chief Willie expressed he was concerned about. That's all we're saying. I don't know fire. I don't know Chief Rashad. He could be an enigma. I'm talking about what the former fire chief told Mayor Horn. Don't ever think we think that we're smarter than we are. But Chief Willie Owens was here for 30 years and kept a lot of people safe for a lot of time, in spite of those that he provides that still happen. He was talking about the ones that still haunt him. So we're talking about what the chief said. Chief Willie Owens said to Mayor Horn, if you don't make the assistant chief the chief, Jackson's in trouble.
Patrick Armour.
If you don't put him as chief, in lieu of putting him a brand new fire chief with experience, of course, if you don't put him as chief, we're in trouble. That's what your former fire chief told Mayor Horn. And Mayor Horn went 4 levels down and said, nah, Kiko. Nah, kid. I know you think the window washer can't run the restaurant, but Jackson's rising. Window washer. This your spot now, baby. Do what you will. Next thing you know, fire department's getting shut down overnight because we don't want to pay overtime. We talked about the former mayor, Yarber, mother's house burning, and folks in that community calling in saying, why would it take 20 minutes to respond? Why would it take 50 minutes to respond? I didn't understand what they meant until Chief Willie Owens came on and told him that each fire department is supposed to be built to respond to everything within its area within 6 minutes. Good Lord. Jackson, we just been getting the bottom of the bottom, and then they burn, spit on that. Here you go. Forget a 6-minute response time. I'm going to cut overtime. That's what folks working in that department are telling us. This ain't coming from some folks. Psst, no. These are people's sisters calling us. My brother's scared to say anything. They getting moved around, anything. Once they call us, they see something, say something. And once you tell me, we'll talk about it. There's too many of y'all to talk about it. So, yeah. That's, that and these things are coming back up. After Chief Willie came in, you just start thinking of old fires, right? You start thinking of old instances, and hold on a second. You telling me that Chief Rashad had 3 to 4 people under him before, and now he's over the whole city's fire response? I would have taken the job too, Rashawn. I'm gonna be real with you. I come from a corps. You had offered me to be over Verizon when I was a supervisor, entry supervisor. You would give me 1 point, I'd have took it. I'm gonna point to Mayor Horn because that's who Chief Willie told not to do it. And there's other problems with these other folks, but we go to leadership. We don't go down up. We go up down. Yeah, I know.
You would have took the position and you would have said it's Mayor Horn that gave me the position.
Yeah. I would have. No, not here. I'm saying that was over phones. Let me be real. I wouldn't have taken it if I'm over people's lives and I know I'm not ready. I'm glad you asked that. I would have tried to help run Verizon's call waiting. You know what I mean? And sell some caller ID because ain't nobody going to die if the caller ID doesn't work. You get what I mean? Yeah. But I'm definitely not going to take a position that I don't have the experience to be over. And I don't know that he does it. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about what our former chief said. These are facts. We don't play in that land of what we think about somebody's profession. We don't play in that land at all. We didn't know anything about whether or not he was qualified or not until the qualified one told us. And we always going to give a platform. Now, once someone qualified as Chief Willie tells us, God darn right, I'm going to repeat it and I'm going to double down. If you could depend on that man to save your life for 30 years, then we can definitely depend on him to tell us how he should run a police department. Fire department. Just like he said that truck was too close to the fire when it started burning. And then another truck caught fire. Then another truck caught on fire. Now, before we found out them other trucks caught on fire, another fire chief tried to call and say, you could never tell. And then it came out with 2 more trucks burned. He was like, well, I mean, in this case, it looks like that. Got to watch people that just kind of come up and shut truth down as soon as it happens. So these are all, I think all of these things, and all of these things that we came in to talk to you all about are relative to this water authority pushback, signing this petition and standing up, not letting Vernon Hartley and Stokes all of a sudden become civil rights leaders. You have picked this fight up. And I may be talking to our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday audience. I don't know if you picked it up yet, we believe. I'm just keeping it a stack with you. We new to you. I don't know what you do when there's no one looking but God and you. I don't know if you still go ahead and take the pennies from the devil thinking nobody's ever going to see it. You could. We believe we going to have to learn each other. I don't know, but I know that Make It Make Sense, Jackson's audience fully has shown up for a year, talking about private white institutions making lunch at black schools in the cafeteria, showing up when folks like Mr. Ford jump on the line and try to discredit you and let Mr. Ford know, I'll meet you, Mr. Ford, and then I'll meet the brother at Walgreens. And that was a big, solid brother, Mr. Ford. You lucked up. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna start nothing. I'm just joking. I mean, he was gonna talk to you and tell you about the past. But that brother is a solid. The community holds us down. The community holds us down. So people that think they create fear, I went by and I looked at the dang Prado development, the Prado Loft today. I pulled up and a little brother ran up on me angry. Daniel Prado just came from Belhaven, used to be in Realty. Now he's in this building. Boy, you think you gonna threaten a black person in Jackson? And Timmy from the city came and talked to me fine, told me everything that was happening. But you got the nerve to puff your chest out and walk up on us? Me standing with other Jacksonians asking about whether or not some black folk can get work there. But you so cocky that your chest is so strong. Man, please, but you better go talk to someone that ain't never had no cuffs on them. You better go talk to someone that they handed everything and put the spoon in their mouth, the silver spoon. You better go talk to someone that never tasted gunpowder. Go talk to one of them. Go scare one of them. You're going to bring your tall, wide-faced, big head ass over here talking about something. What do you need? I need to see what you're doing in there, boy. That's what I need. Exactly what I came for. This is what happens when your people sell you out for $2,000. That's when an Argentinian can come over with big you-know-what and say, I know I got the money to shut you up, boy. I know I got the money to shut you up. Guess what? You don't. You don't. You can stop people from supporting me that want your money, but you can't. The only one thing that can shut me up. That's that upper room. I mean, you can send me there now. I'm not a superstar. You can send me there. I bleed just like everybody else. But that's the room that shut. That's the quiet room for me. That upper room. That's quiet up there. I know. Got some people I want to see up there too. But I'm good right here, right now. But if you want to take it there, I mean, for the people, we're going to keep standing up. I don't know what you thought. It's not what you think it is.
Nobody else is talking about this guy but us.
Nobody else. And what you think is, a lot of people are talking about him, but just us.
What you mean? What are people talking about?
It's funny how people talk about him to us, but nobody's talking about him out loud, Mr. Prado. I think that you have lost your rabid mind. And if this is the last time you hear this, you're going to keep hearing it. That's why we set up that venues. You know, we got a Facebook page with thousands of y'all just joined. We may be there tomorrow. 90.1 may not like it on Wednesday. Baby, we in it for you. When you tell me when you run up on me on Kroger, and instead of saying, is that your voice? I thought that was you. I heard you talking to your daughter and you was on making, tell the young man he's doing good. Man, you and that young man, he talking a lot more. Until y'all stop doing that and you come to me in private and tell me, man, you hurting us by telling us this truth. We'd rather stay blind because at least what we didn't know, we got hit in the legs and not in the stomach. You know, when you start, not one of you has said that. And y'all have come up to me in droves just to talk, bro. This is real life. You know it. And you got to back me up when you're in public and be like, yeah, I saw him out there and I talked to him. Not one of you has come up to me and be like, man, why are you out there running your mouth like that? You need to stop all that truth telling. That didn't happen in South. That didn't happen in West. That hasn't happened in North Jackson. It hasn't even happened in Fondren. I put myself everywhere on purpose. I go to Lemuel, get some coffee, just like you'll find me down the street from Sykes, try to find some coffee. I couldn't find it. That's why we opening the coffee up. But they don't mean money in Lemuel. I'm not saying anything wrong. I walk by Kevin Parkson walking in the door.
Yeah.
I bring him up and say, well, you didn't say nothing but a little something, and there wasn't much to protect us. But I'm not lying to say he's an ugly man. He cheated on his wife. None of this happened, Kevin. I'm just saying, I don't talk about people. I don't say Horn wears big suits like other people say. I don't say Vernon Harley look like he's using the bathroom all the time. I don't say none of the stuff all these people do when they talk about these people. I just say the truth. And for you to think that I'm going to be quiet because you got some money to spread around, man, go take that money to one of these Negroes with jello in their spine. Go bring it to them, Fredo. Maybe one of them want it. Go take your threats to one of these Negroes that don't know about Fannie Lou Hamer. Go take it to one of them that don't know about Medgar Evers and how he got shot down in his driveway. Please go take it to one of them. Don't bring that garbage to me. Go take it to one of them that don't know about Brother Vernon getting votes together and getting shot down and people burning houses. Go take it to them. The ones that don't know about them bending people over in jails and beating them upside the head. Go take it to people that don't know their struggle, man. Don't you ever have the nerve to bring that clown stuff over to us, children of the civil rights movements, and think that we're going to sit here and listen to that and not know what it is. You mad because we got the power. The power is in the people. You're the power. And that's why I say, when you say, Tarek, we don't want to, KP, stop talking about Jackson, what happened here. When you start saying that, then guess what? God bless the child that can hold his own. We're going to keep talking. We still ain't going to stop because we know it's true.
You know you can't shut KP up.
Yeah, you're not. I try to shut, and when I say shut, I try to say everything because the young man just needs to grow and love his city and be the leader he is and the leader he can become, right? I say things because this is the truth. It needs to be out here. It's hot as oil. Riding hand in bag when I get out of the house, right? Oh, good. This is what's light up, man. This people, Brother Evers walked in his house thinking he about to kiss his babies. And y'all know I don't play with nothing. I don't use nothing for trying to make us look better. Brother Mega walked in his house thinking he was about, when I listened to his wife tell the story that night, he came home thinking he was about to sit with his wife. Mr. Prado and that family, you really think with that in our history, you gonna throw some dollars around and I'm gonna shut up about what's happening? You done shot that man down in his driveway? You done made another black man beat Fannie with pipes? You done locked all these black men up in jails and let them die? People falling out of beds, dying from broken limbs, and you think that you can, oh my goodness, but you doing it, and that's disgusting. Not all of you.
You mad about that data center you building? You trying to build your own grid? That what you mad?
Sometimes it's better for you to shut your mouth and just let stuff happen. Don't ever put a fire under the young man in Tarek Abdul-Tawwab. Just go ahead and call your shooters. And I want to see my children kiss them. This ain't no bravado talk. I want to kiss my babies until I'm gone. I'd love to. But I cannot honor these people that came before me and show fear in the face of progress. And right now, Jackson is progressing because we're starting to step up. We're starting to flood City Hall. I don't care for what reasons. We're starting to tell people, we'll vote you out. God, look at all the vote. Matt, what's up, brother? Look at all these voting organizations. Daniel, look at all these voting organizations. People that have been fighting to get votes out. You got people voluntarily coming from these areas saying, I'll vote you out. I might have never voted before, but I'll vote this time. This is heaven. And here come the numbers. Here come the guns. Let's shoot them down because they not bought and paid for. So they're dangerous as hell because all they doing is speaking thought revolution. In thought revolution, you can shoot the person, but the thought lives on. That means you don't have to bow to me or to a church or to a thought of my own, but think critically yourself. Once you find out 1 + 2 = 3, you want to know what 4 + 5 equals. You don't believe it equals 30 anymore. That's the magic. Well, shit, I thought 1 + 1 = 3. It equals 2. Well, hold on. Now, this is everything else they told me over the last. Well, what about this part and that part and that part? Now you're free.
All that.
Now you're free. That's freedom. Freedom is not being outside of a prison. Freedom is not being inside of a prison. Freedom is understanding what's happening to you so you can make a real plan so that it doesn't happen to the next generation. That's all freedom is. That's why you see other countries working and our folks in the South plowing their whole life because they're setting the stage for the next generation. That's why y'all mistake me because you think I'm fighting for something in this world. That's why you don't understand. The upper room is bad and it's good. It's horrible because my babies don't have their daddy. My wife doesn't have a husband. My family doesn't have a little brother. My community doesn't have a strong person. But it's beautiful because through death, life comes every time. It expedites. When you kill something strong, it's already spread its seed. There's certain plants you can't kill them. You can yank it up It's already there. And it's already been passed down to 30 other seeds and 30 other seeds and 30. And wait till them seeds start having children and they start raising their children. And I got some, I'm talking about my seeds. I got some shutters out there. I'm not a little man by any means, but my strength doesn't come from my height or my money. It comes from the love and what I put into the people that come from me, came out of my body, and what I put into the people around me. From here to there, wherever it's at. You don't know where the soldiers may come from. So this is a stand for you, people. This is a stand for you. I started talking about Gabriel Prado because he had gas stations that were coded as grocery stores. All I said was JSU, Valley State, go check these out. I didn't say the community says you love prostitutes. I didn't say the community said initially you love pot, or they talking about you love. I didn't say any of that. But you mistook what I reserved for my people as a luxury you got. You mistook the fact that when I deal with my community, I don't bring outside gossip in. No need to talk about what a mayor does or what Vernon Hartley does or the things other people talk about. We've never done it and we never will. But that's our community, partner. You can't come all the way, fly from Argentina and be like, I'm gonna do it to them too. And you think we're just gonna sit here and watch? No, we're not gonna come talk to you. We're not gonna sit at the table. We're gonna tell the people them gas stations ain't selling a lick of deli meat. Remember who was on 90.1? Senator Bo Brown called him. Why are you letting them tell the people all these things? Yeah. Sherry stood up and said, well, it's the truth. You can come on and talk about it.
It's been a whole heat of people.
Yeah, to big up to 90.1 so far.
We had people pull up to us to the show.
Yeah.
People,
they don't never say why you talking bad about people.
Threaten us.
Threatened us, threatened online. What did 90.1 tell them? Well, Mayor Horn, you need to come on yourself and respond. That's stand-up behavior so far. But one day you won't hear us say something that you don't hear from anyone else. We'll speak about Prado, no one else will. And all of a sudden, you don't see us anymore. That ain't gonna happen to you because you know where our Facebook page is. We at that time. Make it make sense, JXN. You know where we be. Oh, sometimes the more you poke a real bear, not this garbage they talk about, the bear is us. All the fish swimming downward at the same time. Forget the clowns that don't want to swim with us. That's the bear. You keep poking that bear. You keep thinking you're dealing with a man or men that want something for themselves. There should have been little flags through this. They're not dressing to try to show off, especially not the tall one. They don't show up with extra things. There's no jewelry. It should have been little signs that maybe we don't want something monetary in there. My man, that's what I'm talking about. That's love. That's the Facebook page that you go to when they try to run us away. And look at them followers. That's y'all on there. We started with 60-something followers on there, boy.
From the bottom.
From the bottom, with our engineer's wife got most of them for us. Yeah. Shout out B. Got most of them for us, right? We ain't had nothing. My wife jumped on KP, folks. We didn't have that many people. Every time we saw a bot, what did we do to that bot? Removed it. We didn't even want to, but go look at, well, you can't look at our friends list. We try to protect folks, but because some of y'all will get fired just for liking us. But we remove every bot on that friend list, and I won't show it because I'm not going to do it. There's some people that will really get in trouble because they appreciate a good show, and that's why I protect you all the way that I do. But if you can't hear us, you always can. And look, we fought for that. Up to 1,600 with racist podcast people attacking us, and we kept the people trying to pull us into fights because they thought we wanted money and we wanted their fame, so we'd love to get in that fight. We're here to talk to the people. Black man jumped on a page under the JSU post and said, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. Ow. If it's not about my people progressing, it don't make sense. Free the people. I would have let that go.
I was going to say, and for him to say something like that, and it just, you never been on our show. Or maybe you have. Maybe, maybe you're one of the ones that just don't believe in yourself to do something like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, and you pull us into places we weren't even going, and you anger us, and when you anger us, you put yourself in these positions. And I've never been angry of something you've done to me. I've never been angry at you trying to drag my wife, and you know who I'm talking about. I've never been angry at you dragging my son and making my son unsafe at your school to the point I had to pull him out. I never got angry and fought for that. I never got angry. I had to pull my son out your other school because you called him racist names because you didn't like the fact that I talked about certain things. I never got angry that you caused problems for some of these young people to go out there, that you try to lock up people that are doing good work and demonize them, call them everything you said. We're fine with that. We knew that was the task of going to war for you. We knew that. But you got to stand up for us as well. The young man is right. He's going to stand by. You better stand up. This isn't that party. When these people do these things like snipe us, when we tell you, and we saw that dang 25,000 on that Gabriel Prado post, we just posted it like any other post we was doing. Our bigger thing was moving towards this water authority. But when we saw your response to the Gabriel Prado post, then we go out to Pearl Flow and we find out, oh no, this isn't it. You've been taking over stuff out there. Now you coming for the big boy. Then you pop up on data centers like the young man said. We wasn't even looking at that. We just telling folks that we saw Black Excellence water in your store. You shouldn't have been disrespectful, because that's how I noticed you the first time, because you put Black Excellence water in there. You remember that? A year or two ago when I told you, I said, man, I got Black Excellence water. Yeah. Then I started looking.
Selling it for high.
Yeah. Then I put you in the system and said, well, you're not a grocery store. Food Depot closing down and you a grocery store? No. And I'm thinking it's a mistake waiting for you to change it. Then I ride by the place today and I try to look to see the progress. And the younger brother Daniel run over there like he a gangster and about to do something. And I'm like, what's going on? Let me hop out of me.
What you say? I'm glad KP won.
I'm so glad you weren't there, young. No, I'm glad you weren't there. It was a young brother that we talked to across the street at Walgreens. I shoot him away and was like, no, we definitely don't need you, brother. We definitely don't. Because he came on with some slides on ready to fight. I was like, bro, what are you doing? No, sir. But yeah, like, how dare you? You know how much money I have, bro? You are in a 90% Black city with a 5 out of 7 Black city council members, this hurts me to say it. A Black mayor, that hurt. A black mayor, a Black fire chief, a Black police chief. Man, you feel that comfortable that your money can spread that long? That's strange to me.
Gonna come up short somewhere.
Came sliding over like a big platypus. What do you need? I wasn't even on the property. You know the little middle lane when you're right in the middle between Walgreens and where the Prado Loft is being built up. I was in the middle lane.
So for him to even be that hostile towards you,
he came in.
He been hostile to other people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he beginning. Well, we already know that the construction workers that came up begging me to put this on air because they couldn't get work with Prado. Yeah. Look how many things I left alone. What's going through your head? Look how many things we had to move on to the water authority for you to yank us back to that. So you got folks lined up outside the job, Black contractors, asking me, can I help them get work with Prado? Well, you know I can't help you now after he ran up on me. I don't think he likes me anymore than he likes you all for some reason. This truth telling is ugly, right? But now you got that. Black construction workers and contractors that were like they had work before, now they don't have any work, and they're not able to get on at any of these sites. But the city of Jackson is a partner here. That's what pulled me to the site, because I saw a City of Jackson truck on the Prado Loft site.
Oh.
And I talk to my people all the time, so I said, well, let me look to see, make sure the city not giving them too much, especially since Eddie's Barbecue still, did they get their sign yet? So Eddie's Barbecue, brother, call us if we're wrong. We'll correct it. Eddie's Barbecue, good barbecue, because the young man said it still doesn't have a sign up. And he made a post about asking for a sign, and he can't get a permit while we done seen the Vietnamese chicken place get a permit.
I haven't seen anything.
No, he can tell us if we know he didn't have it when that post went up.
Yeah.
But I know that the permits for Prado Lofts are shooting up. This is what happened when you back the money. This is what happened when you back the money. But when you go to see your Lord, you tell him the money was good. Like the brother said in there, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. If you like it, I love it. We can only answer for ourselves on that final day. And we all trying to take a bag to heaven. That's the crazy part. And it can't go with you. It can't go with you. You can't take it. And don't be 50, 60, 70. Black male life expectancy ain't that long. That's a hell of a gamble to take. That's a hell of a gamble at 70 as a Black man, at 50 as about 50. I can't take that gamble. I know our life is, I know some of y'all's has stretched to 90, but that 65, 70 still count for a lot of us that lived certain ways when we was younger. So at 50, I really can't take a bag and screw you over, even if I wanted to, because I'm going to see him soon. So what you taking with you? You want to try to take that money and bury it in your coffin? What you gonna do? And I love you all when I say this, because I'm trying to talk you off the ledge. I'm gonna get marched to the ledge. That's how I'm gonna go. As a hero, march me to the ledge. You run into it. Y'all are running to it. And if you over 50 and you run into it, where you taking it? Your children don't have nothing. What you do? What man secures the bag for another culture? God damn, these ain't the kings from yesterday. What man secures the bag for another culture? I got uncles that have done it. I love him, I just can't respect him. And when they die, I mourn them. I just can't deny to God that some good might start to happen. That's as real as I can be with you all.
What you mean?
That if someone in my family passed us doing harm to our people, I can't deny that some good may have come out of that,
Them doing it.
out of them passing.
Oh, okay.
So, so this is, we're at a funny time, y'all. You know, the one song I keep using, I don't care if you're 56, look it up, is Bon Iver, and it's called It Might Be Ending Soon. You keep hearing that. And I'm going to play that video if he can for me. Right when we get to the end, I'm going to have him play one of the videos from our Facebook page if we can. The reason I'm playing that song is because it's where we are. And the song just sings, it might be ending, so that's where we are. When you see Jackson, when you see the pride of our city getting pushed around, yeah, we done stepped on the dope dealers already. Now we moving to the JSU students. We don't care about you neither. Get out, there's money to be made here. And you got people jumping on there, black people. I know they live in Madison. I'm sorry. And to the good people in Madison, I'm not talking about you. But I know these black people on my post live in Madison. And that wasn't supposed to be long-term housing. You just skipped over the whole thing that I said. I done took all that. That's why I'm mad. I did all that research. I done did all that research in there and showed you what's happening. And all you get, I did that one. That wasn't the young man post. That's mine. I put that in. I done did all that research to show you that a contract is extended. They're letting grown-ups rent with them right now, all because there's too much money to be made. And they ain't even fixed it up yet. They haven't even fixed it up yet. Where's that post? If you scroll up, you'll see it right there. I put that, and they lit that post up. No, you don't have to do it now. But no, it's up. Go a little further up. Was it to the top? No, down. It was old, not new. Go down a little more. Is it that right there? What's that one right now? No. What's that one? My bad eyes, y'all. I got
City original, City Hall.
No, go down a little more. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, this is before we did City Hall. If y'all haven't looked at that City Hall clip, you've got to look at it, guys. We went down there with it. Go. It's right after that, I think. Not go down a little more. Right. No, that's the city. What the next one? No, well, stop right there. Let's just stop right there. Go back up. Yeah, just leave it there. You know, you passed by something so important, there ain't no point in keep going with what you were talking about. But let's leave that there for a second. What were we talking about? What were we looking for? We were looking for
The Walthall.
the Walthall Loft Post. Yeah. But if you look at it, and no, you know what? Go down a little more. That's down. Let's go down a little more because this is unprecedented. This brother is very good at what he does, and it's keep going down a little more, and keep going out. It's going to have the headline. Keep going. Is it Pat? Do we pass it? Right there. Okay, so that's the post we're talking about, guys, right? And on that post, essentially what we did there, let me show you how your people start to respond sometimes. We put a picture of Walthall Lofts, and then we put the article that talked about the JSU students pushing back. These are two separate articles. First, we questioned, why would WLBT or any station not put this as one article? So one article is talking about Walthall. The JSU students thought they had a contract for this time. Why would they have been told to turn in your keys earlier? And why are they renting with other people? The other article talks about that one at the bottom, as you see with the swimming pool, Walthall Lofts. Look at long shuttered downtown hotel reopening soon at Walthall Lofts. This is a feel-good story. It says nothing about students being pushed out. Why would you put that story completely separate? Now let's look at the other story. We can just go to this right there. Now look at this story. This is the same story. Why is it being broken into two parts? JSU students express concern over housing with the Walthall Loft sign right there, but you don't put it into one. Okay, so that's because you want people to understand this gentrification is happening. This is a good thing. So we're going to put this in a great light, but then we got to put the JSU students on there because we don't want to be told that we didn't do it. So when we went into the comments, you saw after showing folks that they're pushing you out because gentrification is happening so quickly and so much money to be made, let's get out of here. You would think folks would come on there and say things like, whether they had a contract or not, that's messed up that they're pushing other people in there. They can't at least wait for these students to graduate. It's ridiculous. JSU students already facing a housing problem, but instead what you saw was comments that said things like, this wasn't supposed, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. It's pretty true. So kudos to those people investing in Jackson. He's talking about these folks. None of them are from Jackson. I believe this is an Indian family, is what I believe in my research. They're definitely not from Jackson. Cool. This is a brother. Kudos to the people who are doing that to bring it up and out of a dying stagnation. A black man in 2026 is looking at a clear gentrification, which everyone and saying that's investment. This is why I say when they holding the door open, the call's coming from inside the house. I don't think Walthall was meant to be long-term after renovation. This is another person on the page. Didn't look nothing at why these students were being pushed in with adults all of a sudden when they had a contract, were being told to turn in their keys a little early, and now some students were dropping out of school because they thought they had a little more time. Nobody cares about that, right? It was never intended to be a university dorm, number one. Number two, what are you talking about? Hold on, that may be a Madisonian Okay, no, I understand him. I'm sorry, he's from Madison, so he's not. I understand that completely. What do we have? Everyone keeps complaining about gentrification. Meanwhile, the city falling apart. How do you think gentrification happened? This scares me. This scares me because I think these are all educated people too, from what I can tell. It scares me because someone actually said everyone keeps complaining about gentrification. Meanwhile, the city's falling apart. I hope you went to college. That's how you make gentrification. JSU, Valley State, Tougaloo, Alcorn. What? They go to one of these places. They went to one of you. Piney Woods. They went to one. You done shut down 17 JPA schools. I'm not going to call you out now. I may holler Dr. Green's name out, but I ain't going to holler you out, JPS, because you struggling to stay alive. But Piney Woods, God damn, JSU. This Negro doesn't know what gentrification is? A black man says everyone keeps complaining about gentrification. First off, loving it, but meanwhile, the city's falling apart. Hold on. How can it be gentrification when a building was abandoned and not being used for like 10, 11 years? He felt good about that too. He tagged people in it. No, I'm just joking. He took, go look at me, Ma. I made a post. I showed them. They're complaining down there in Jackson, and you better be from here. That'd be more insulting if you're making that statement from a gentrified place, like the brother did from Baltimore. So you don't shut your mouth. Gentrified as your city is. You don't shut the hell up. What the hell? I worked in Baltimore. You don't shut the... You in D.C. talking about it? Taxation without representation? You ain't even got to vote. This man came from D.C. talking about, man, these Negroes keep... Sir, what? Sir, what? Baltimore, what? I'm turning to Lil Jon. What? Baltimore, I worked there. I got friends there. I'll put them on you. I wish you would say you got some control in Baltimore, because I got too many people crying about the way they're being crushed in Baltimore. You think this stuff is just here? We got comrades all through this country. We got comrades all through this country fighting the crazy drugs that they letting flow into Baltimore. These police, you talk about gentrification, Baltimore gentrifies through police. Their police go out there and say, you boys can sell there, there, and there, but if you sell here, I'm going to hit you upside your head. You watch The Wire and The Corner, 2 movies made off of that. Admitting the government's looking to the left as a port gets flooded with drugs. Talking about downtown Baltimore where little Donald Trump's son owns half of the block. So you can go to row houses, which are all 500,000, then step over a crack in a line and get shot in the face. That's what they bring into Jackson. And you got folks from D.C. calling and giving you advice. Shame on him.
You got people in Jackson saying, we got the highest crime rate in the city. Yeah, big thug.
In Jackson.
In Jackson.
We got the highest crime rate.
Yeah, we biggest crime scene. Come on, dog.
Listen, we got to clown him. Because maybe you'll feel comfortable clowning them when you talk to them at work. I was that one, Verizon, let him know. I was this person my whole life. On the phone, putting the customer, hold on a second. Man, you a coon, and you should be banished from any African-American event ever. I'm still here with you, sir. Would you like call waiting on there? I work with a lot of people, and they will hold me down. I've always told this, what I see is the truth. But this is crazy what I'm looking at. I be calling my son over from Tougaloo. I'm like, son, come look at this. My son just shake his head and say, well, Daddy, it is what it is. I asked him what the little meanings mean. They were at Standard Life before they rented here. Then his sister, big up Miss Megan, bring back affordable and safe housing. Sometimes people get it. What did the other sister say? All money ain't good money. The soldiers are in there. They can speak up. You just got so many cowards talking. You got to jump in. Here go this one. Wait, y'all blaming Horn when this has been going on before the Palisades shut down? LOL. You're so silly. And you thought you ate, as my daughter would say. You did, didn't you? What did they do with their fingers? You thought you ate, didn't you? No, we're not saying that. Yeah, thank you. That's just what y'all do. And my daughter would tell me, stop it, Daddy. I won't. I'm going to do it 2 hands because I know you're not looking, baby. But Dad, that's what you do. You think we talking about Horn and the Palisades? We're talking about the gentrification of Jackson being so lucrative that now Waltham wants to get on it too. Fondren jumped in on it. It started with just Prado and Babanasi. Prado got this part, Babanasi got that part. And John Horn put them both out there. Remember he came on the radio show and said, Babanasi and Prado are going to save the city with their investments. Ain't a Negro going to be living in there.
Prior to us talking about it. Ain't that crazy?
Prior to us talking about it. So then you jump on it. But this is how you see how we get broken. We don't get broken because of these joke racist podcasters try to get some attention. That doesn't break us. Who cares? Everybody knows they're uneducated and ignorant. You can see that from the way they look. That's sad. Because usually I teach my children don't read a book by cover. Sometimes you could read ignorance. Oh, God, I can smell it. It's strong. They're not going to hurt us. It's our own people that hurt. I don't care about them. When we get in here and say stuff like, I choose gentrification, i.e. investment in Jackson, that's a black person that said that under there. Hey, California, please look before they take that down. Baltimore, Atlanta, please come and hurry up and look, because I bet you he come up there and party. It's a black person saying, I choose gentrification for Jackson, right? I.e. investment, right? Now, you have a lot of people properly so on there. Big up to you all, right? He says, I chose gentrification in Jackson over deplorable conditions any day of the week. This man looks like he runs businesses. He went to college. And he said, I picked gentrification over deplorable conditions. I'm not going to insult people. Sir, that's how gentrification happens. You make the conditions deplorable, then you buy low and sell high. So you drop homeless people off in Jackson. You refuse to give them their 1% sales tax to fix the roads and the streets. You refuse to give them their ARPA money, then somehow let them use the ARPA money to give to Clutch. Pause. That's federal money. How can you switch where that federal money goes all of a sudden? Oh, just quick sidebar. You didn't know that ARPA money, that $2.9 million for the little houses that was allotted for the small houses was ARPA money? JSU's Law and Political Science Department. I'm talking to JSU's Political Science Department here, Tougaloo, Valley State, and Alcorn, right? I thought that when money was federally allocated for something, and ARPA, for housing in this case, that you couldn't just turn and spend it somewhere else. You get charged for that. I thought it had to go to the federal level and then be reallocated for a study. So how did we take money, $2.9 million of ARPA funds that were signed off on for the tiny houses, and then watch this. When the city resubmitted the plan, it didn't have the woman who signed off on the first plan and looked at it, didn't have her signature on it. Well, that's a different thing. That's something I'm looking at. Just put it like this. How do you reallocate those ARPA funds? Let's leave it there. I'm always investigating, and that's going to come out next. But first, we got to leave that for those universities. That's what I want to know. That's your homework between today and tomorrow. Tougaloo, Alcorn, Valley, your JSU, your political science department, and I know it's a student. I'm talking to the students. Remember my brother from JSU? The political students department? Maybe I meant to talk to y'all because your teachers ain't going to answer, right? Because with that few votes coming out of both of your schools, I got a feeling somebody's controlling your administration to a degree. When your professor at JSU, Ebony Lumumba, is at the planning, the root of that festival that the mayor took credit for, works that hard on planning for that festival. Everyone at JSU knew that Dr. Ebony Lumumba, was the one that helped plan, direct, and shape that festival. And they didn't even mention her name. And no one at JSU said anything. Just like when Chief Willie said, this is wrong, the other 99 black men looked under the table. And I'm talking about 100 black men, because Chief Willie is from 100 black men. And when he was getting dragged, meaning he told them how to protect his city, and they ignored him and then lied to him, don't forget, they took credit for the fire trucks and all of the work he did. Mayor Horn took credit for those accomplishments. The other 99 black men didn't say anything. They just let that one sit on his own. That's why I try to tell my son, sometimes you're better off alone, or with somebody you know going to stand in there with you. You know how long Chief Willie's been? He would never say this. And Chief Willie didn't say nothing about 100 black men. He didn't say nothing. He never said one word. Those are his brothers. I'm saying it. Once I find out, unlike the state, I take over charges. Remember back in the day when a person had to press the charges? I don't want to press charges. Then all of a sudden the state started picking them up. So even if the person that you punched in the face didn't want to press charges, the state still did. It used to be if that person said, I don't want to press charges, the state couldn't press charges. Well, we that person. We don't care that Chief Willie had no animosity. We want to know where the other 99 black men were. Because this is how a city fails. And that's what we're telling you that they're never going to be able to erase. This is recorded. You keep it. You better hold on to this. This is why your city is failing. I may not know your grandmother. I may not know who had sex with who and who beat up who, but I can tell you why the city's failing. Because people that you're entrusting are throwing a rock and then hiding a hand. And so now you have Bryn Hartley and Councilman Stokes as the two people position themselves to be the fighters for your water system. One calls the previous mayor, who we all knew would fight for your water system. Let's pause that. Let's pause that. You know, we ask people all the time, you didn't like Lumumba, but do you think he would let some of this happen?
Hell to the no.
That's what we get from people. I mean, whether they voted for him or not. And that's what I love about black people. We're going be honest no matter where we sit. The rest happening to. We're gonna be honest. No, and the one thing I said was, if you don't vote for, do not let John Horn get in that seat. You got 20 candidates. You shouldn't have had 20 candidates, but you had 20. One person you could put in that seat. And that's where we end up. So when you go look at my post, guys, go look at it, and you can all be on that side. That's fine. You have to understand something. We care about the people this is happening to, okay? I see a lot of people on there, just a shout out to you all, talking about the university can't grow because it won't make an investment in housing. When you all talk about JSU, we're coming with that story next. We don't, that's why I'm not talking. We don't disagree with any of that. Our point was just to talk about how greedy these folks are getting. They could have waited a few months and let these children graduate without grown men living next to these young women who have already said they're uncomfortable. That's why I'm repeating it. They could have let these kids finish school. Now go look at these kids. They said some of them have already left because they're leaving before they thought they would. I don't care what you tell me. If those JSU, they're seniors. My son is a senior. A senior is never going to not make a plan to graduate in the last year. So if these kids are leaving school and going back home, it's because they were under the impression that they were going to be able to be there a little longer. Now, I've also heard folks that work for the company say, well, it's not the company they wanted to push through. JSU didn't want to renegotiate. Listen. Let me stop all that. That's like the city council pointing at the mayor and him pointing at him. Y'all can stop. It's all of you. I'm going to break down what you each did. You ain't even got to do that. You ain't got to point at each other because your time coming next. So Stokes, don't you point at him. You stuck your tongue out at the previous administration for 8 years and did everything you could to stop it from moving through, to stop. At least you could have let him fight the Water Authority takeover, right? Which meant you did that. Vernon Hartley, you ran around with Ashby Foote and told everybody, you told people, now I was sitting there. I know when you looked at me, you knew this was going to come back to you, Hartley. You looked right in there and said, don't trust nobody but me, Foote, and Stokes. That's what Vernon Hartley ran around telling everybody else. Openly dividing the city council for a Confederate sympathizer.
Ashby Foote.
Let that sit there. Go look up the Foote family and see if there's any relation, because the Foote plantation is so big, it's like its own city. He went to West Point, 1%. All of his family went to West Point, back to the Confederacy. This is who you ran around with and said, don't trust the other black folks on city council. Make it make sense. This is what Vernon Hartley did. Then when they dragged the redistricting to Pearl, and he found out that that Foote got what he wanted, and he wasn't getting what he wanted, go pull that up. That's when he became Marcus Garvey. Before that, he was kicking black people out of his church. Scotty, shout out to Scotty, right? That's when I had to let him know. He remember the first time let me tell you the first time I introduced him. Y'all remember, he was talking about the redistricting. He said, well, this wasn't right. They voted to redistrict it, and that's not on us. I wasn't the president. Then he said, well, the president convinced people to redistrict. No, he said they voted on it. They voted on it. A young man raised his hand and was trying to ask him a question, but the young man just didn't have control of his words, and he wasn't doing nothing. He was just trying to talk, and he didn't speak well enough. Hartley sat him down and clowned him. Well, yeah, man, think about it and then come back to me. My hand shut up. No, sir. I didn't even have a question before. So, and look where this led. I said, Mr. Hartley, can you tell us what the vote was? Right? Who voted for it and who voted against it? Immediately, he was like, I don't remember. Pause. You called this whole meeting about that city council vote. You done sat up here like Martin Luther King talking about it, and we shouldn't have voted that way. What did the vote go? He said, well, I wasn't the president then. I said, who was the president? He said, Aaron Banks. I said, okay. I said, so how did the vote go? He finally said it went 4-3. I said, how did you vote? He said, I don't remember. I looked at the crowd. I said, you're telling me we'll pull it up. He said, hold on. I voted for it, but that's only because he tricked me. So you got to understand, this man had started telling the crowd that the other city councilmen had voted for the redistricting. That's why they were in this situation. He was implying that. Then he stepped on a young black man for not being able to speak well enough, and I stood up. I can speak well enough. So let me ask you about that vote. Then it turns out he had voted for the thing he was saying should have never happened. That's the story. That's the way you throw your rock and hide the hand. He had voted to redistrict and was telling the people that he was the one they should trust because they should have never redistricted like those people said. But he never told them he voted for it. That's like KP, I vote for them to rob you. Then I come and try to help you. And I never tell you, well, yeah, I just want to let you know I voted to rob you.
He knew they weren't going to ask.
Absolutely. Thank you, my brother. That's Jackson. Thank you. He knew they weren't going to ask the question. So lie by omission. I'm good. Same way DeKeitha Stamps came on his show and said, file a rate case and slow things down. It wasn't that he gave it due diligence and said it's good to it, it's bad. He took the show down. You like it, I love it. He took the show down. DeKeitha run tell that. They're going to have to figure it out somehow. Better hope they weren't watching. We were. sorry. We just be watching shows in 94. Well, we just watch it all day. And that screen recorder is vicious. That's how y'all see when I reproduce things. Man, my screen recorder sits on my toolbar. Pop, pop, real quick, in case you do something live and you try to take it down later, right? I went quick then, but I got quick since then. Right? I just watched. But these are the things that precede us getting into this place. And now you have a chance. That's what that petition is for. You have a chance to do something yourself, or you can wait on your city council to make the right choice.
Right.
That's where you're at. You have a chance to make that decision yourself, or you can wait on your city council to make the right choice, right? And when you look into those comments and you see people, now there was one comment I read. I'm gonna read every show. This brother said, "Y'all done set up and elect," and when someone, other people can see things, right? Y'all done set up and elected the state right into the city hall office. That's what happened. We've been saying this for years. Now it's getting into the open, and it's too late for the city of Jackson. And the new beginning for the middle class and upper white citizens and the ones who want to come to Jackson. You better lean on him. He's right. The only thing I disagree with him on, and that's just because it's my job, is that I can turn it around, brother. You right in everything you're saying. It might be over soon, but I think we can fight it a little bit, a lot. Reach out and tell that person, Monday, we're having the hearing, right? Monday, it's at 6:30. Where's that public? There's a public hearing. I would die. There's a public hearing. I'll pull it up in a minute and I'll post it. But Monday at 6:30, there's a public hearing.
I think the 27th. Yeah.
Yes.
27th.
The 27th isn't that Monday? Let me make sure. Yep, the 27th is Monday. It's at 6:30. I'll pull that up and we'll post it. But there's a public. We're going to have to come out ourselves at this point. The Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition has made. There's a group that you know in there, whether you don't know every group. We're past that point now. We're going to roll with the group that stood up and actually. We're going to roll with the only ones that have intervention status at this point. We're going to roll with the ones that actually stood up and said, Judge Wingate, this isn't fair, and he called them racist and told them to get out his face. We've seen what's happened. Your water is ending quickly. And when that water authority takes over, then your voice means nothing. So this is the last chance for your voice to mean something with your water. That public hearing, yeah, that's right there. That public hearing is next week on Jackson Water. Let's make sure that's the right one. That may be a different one. Yeah, let's see if that's the cities or. Let me see that. So we're gonna put that on there. But the big thing is that you combine all these things together. If we don't show up in one place at one time, and you all have been calling us and reaching us about the petition. So the link that you see, the QR code, that leads you to a volunteer form. In order to sign the petition, two things you can do. A, we're canvassing heavily. So when your door knocks, and your door will knock, I don't know. Listen, I want to know who. Record them. Don't record them. I'm joking. What Jacksonian is going to say, no, I don't want to sign this to keep our water under Jackson? Put it in the comments. If there's one reason, call me, send a private message. If one Jacksonian that doesn't live in Fondren or North Jackson, I want to know why would we give this water away to a water authority? After we've seen that they were so abusive, they had to introduce legislation in the rural areas to stop their abuse. They're the same ones coming. So I need to know from you, why would we want that? And every other Jacksonian, sign that petition when they knock on your door. It could be 5:30. I know people get it. I've canvassed. People get upset at 5:30. They just got home. Don't do it, please. When you hear that knock, just say, give me the petition. Hurry up. I got things to do. And put your petition there. Don't ask, well, who did? And all the people that did it right on that flyer, Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition, the same people that's been there through it all, that were called racist for trying to fight against this, that told Judge Wingate you want cut off service. Now people losing service in groups of 1,500. Now they're putting lock boxes in black neighborhoods on the water. You think that's just about that person's water that's off? Come on, Jackson. You got to wake up. Why are you putting that lockbox on there? So you can't come and turn it back on until the right person's in there. Now all of them old sayings, if Jackson vote white, they'll get right. About your mate, now all those sayings are starting to make sense. Now when all of a sudden on Old Canton, when you didn't have no grocery stores near there, instead of there were grocery stores, but instead of putting a grocery store where it used to be, you built a huge storage unit with air conditioning. Yeah.
Who did that?
Whoever owned them places, because they knew that there's a lot of people in Jackson. The black community got our black upper echelons, all our storage units. For the black folk that bounced to Madison but kept their property because one day it's going to come back.
Got to come and say, make a flyer so everyone can come out. Start sharing now. We already got a flyer.
We already got a flyer. Go to our Facebook page. Absolutely. About the sign the petition, we already have a flyer. And if you want to sign up to volunteer and come out and canvas, scroll on our site, go down to the flyer with the little girl that was pointing, saying hands off our water, the little sister, right there. You can click on that QR code on our site and it will take you to a volunteer form. You can do 2 things on that form. That goes to the Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition. It'll allow you to put where you want to sign it at. And if you can't leave your house, we'll find a way to get someone to you. But it also, if you want to get some flyers and hand them out in your neighborhood and volunteer, this is us. You can meet up with us. We're going to be there volunteering. We ain't running nothing. We showing up just like you. We're going to try to get our Make It Make Sense Jackson shirt so we can give it to a few of y'all that are doing the hard work. We don't sell nothing. We don't get it to y'all. But this is right there. Take it off our site, forward it off our site. Make It Make Sense JXN on Facebook. This is not a game. This is the people. And that's who is going to suffer. You see it right above you. And shout out to We Believe Digital and showing you it. Make It Make Sense JXN. It's big that you put that JXN in or you won't pull it up, right? We're going to be all over the place. And I'm talking about the city is out there. All them canvases are the people. We just 2 of them going out there and working with them. When that knock comes, man, tell on people, man, internally. If we're going to talk about people snitching and telling, snitch on someone not signing that. How about that? Don't stop snitching about that as adults, 50-year-olds, a new one. Don't do that because that contributes to too much violence. But let's think of our own, telling on people that's not signing it. Let's find them people that got their personal, oh, no. One of the people canvassing took my spot at a job back in 1920. No, man. If that is going to help our city, go on and sign that. Go on and sign it.
I'm signing it. How many signatures we need?
We need 50,000.
50,000.
I know that you want to hear 30,000. Target KP need 50,000. I mean,
it's
serious.
100,000 y'all.
Yeah, we know some of y'all really live in Madison, but it's some of y'all live here. But they're going to tell you 30,000, and that's what the groups need. Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition is looking at how many votes. They're looking at the legal side. Make It Make Sense. Jackson is telling you we need half of this city on there. 18% of this city voted. That's the rest of us are there. Sign that petition. 50,000 strong. Let the other 20,000 come from Make It Make Sense Jackson. And we don't get out there and knock at the door. You see me and KP knocking out there, I'm going to stand behind the young man. But you see me and KP knocking at the door, go and sign a petition. Because all that petition is asking, now let's explain it to them. All that petition is asking the city council to do is to tell the water authority, you can't come in my house. Say no to that lease. See, what they want you to believe is once the governor signed it into law, that it meant that we got to let them in our house. But the law protects us and them. The city council can reject the lease. Here come the city attorney telling them that they can't. They need to hire their own lawyers to tell them they can. They should have had that from the beginning after Siemens. Come on, this city council, Stokes been through Siemens. Hardly been through Siemens. Why are you just getting a lawyer now, player? Come on now. Piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Why are you just getting a lawyer now? Because that made me believe you're trying to stay out of jail, not protect the people. When you get a lawyer after the charges come out. Because if you are a black person and know they're going to demonize you and you're doing it right, you got that lawyer up front.
Y'all don't want that Oxford treatment. Y'all don't want them 70 years on y'all head.
Yeah, that's what it is. The Moma's lawyer was ready. Remember when they charged him with bribery? He came and did his own press conference 2 days before they came out with it.
Came out like a
He came out and was like, just to let you know, they coming with the old J. Edgar Hoover joint. And whatever you think about a person, some of you all fell for it. We invited him on. The one thing we give Lumumba is that we've invited several people on our show. The only person that ever came on this mug was Willie Owens and the previous mayor. All these people running for office never came on.
No, Dr. Amari came on.
Dr. Amari came on when she was working. That's right. As she was in office. And I'm not talking about afterwards. Big up Dr. Sophia Amari. She came on. But no other politicians or people running would. And you know why they wouldn't? You leave it there. Because you know we're going to ask you. What you plan to do for the people? We're not going to curse you. We're not going to ask you to talk about gossip. We're not going to ask you to talk about your religion if you don't want to. We're just going to ask you what's your plan for Jacksonians. But when you give it, we're going to say, well, hold on. That plan can't work because A, B, C, D, and you knew that. So it's time for you all to start holding people accountable. This show was meant to be, well, we weren't planning on talking about some things, but you pushed it there. But these places were meant to be, let me go, you know what, I've got to go to this. One thing you all are going to learn is that most young people that do these podcasts, their eyes are a lot better than mine. And I should be able to, you can't see it either?
It said, thanks, is that for the public meeting also?
I'm going to I'm gonna go right to the page so I can see you all. My people are more
He
important.
is lying. He can see it. I'm just playing.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Okay. I don't see it coming. Maybe it doesn't let me see them.
There you go.
Oh. Okay, that's just one of them. I can't see the rest of them popping. Okay, now I can see it on this. So when they come in, I can answer. So that's what you have to look at, how these things intermix. And when I talk about that, right, everything intermixes together. Let me pause for a second because time's running short on us. Remember when we talked about infant mortality rate? All of these things connect together. Sherry Jones from 90.1 pulling people together about, remember how much he talked about pregnant mothers that were homeless?
Yeah.
Remember how much he talked about how that contributes?
How long did it take for it to go national? It hit the news.
How long then Black Caucus stepped in?
Yeah.
The Black Caucus steps in. And they turned it into a study on the back page of the Clarion Ledger. How many of you have a subscription? You can't read it for free. Maybe it was neither one can you get it for free. It turned into a study. We're watching Black Caucus. I got family. Look, we watching you, but we're going to hold you accountable. Rest in peace. You could have been my great mother. We're going to hold you accountable. So you turned it into a study from a community protest. And one thing Sherry talked about was homeless mothers. Now let's pause for a second. You were set to spend $3 million on building 60 houses. Who do you think would have had priority? Who always has priority? Pregnant mothers. So we got 15 out of every 1,000 Black babies dying. And Mayor John Horn, Brian Grizzell, Kenneth Stokes, the whole city council, Vernon Hartley, Foote, Parkinson, they all sat there and allowed the cancellation of a plan that probably would have housed at least 25% pregnant women. Because I know they get first dibs. You know what it's like to be homeless and going through prenatal, not getting any vitamins, living in stressful areas, preeclampsia, early deliveries. My son was born 5-6 months earlier. We sat in the NICU for 6 months. My son had more surgeries than most adults will ever have in their life. I watched baby after baby die because you get called out. If you're sitting there watching your son, another baby passes, they pull everyone out the room. Or they call you in when one baby has passed and told you they shut down visitors and you don't know if it's your child. This is where we're living in an apartment. You got mothers living homeless. That's enough of a reason for them not to have canceled it. I'm Kanye West. Mayor John Horn does not like Black people. That's not Mike Myers, though. He gonna back me up. Mayor John Horn. Now, this is me saying this alone.
I ain't Chris Tucker.
Mayor
either.
John Horn does not like it. Chris Tucker just like he didn't want to be there. There's so many cowardly black people being given the talk. And you see what happened to Kanye. Whatever you think about him, you see what happened to him. The moment you start talking, we're gonna turn you into a crazy immediately. Whether you jumped in and high-fived him and joined in it, you know, Kanye doing some things that just helped him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the moment you spoke. Ironically, the moment you started going crazy after that.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But we're going to talk to you about this.
Fickle and uneducated.
Fickle and uneducated is what we are. And that's just what they want folks to believe.
Crumb. You should be satisfied with crumb. That's what he told you.
Did you know that there's still a Mason's office at City Hall? Some things that make you wonder. If you ever wonder, well, the previous administration, how did they find out so much? And why don't people want to talk there? Did you know that there's still a Mason's office? Because the Masons built it. I think they own City Hall.
Masons, who's that?
The Masons group, the Freemasonry.
Off Left Street?
I'm talking about City Hall. Yes, I think their head office is off City Hall, but they have an office in City Hall. I think it's up on the 3rd floor. And from what I understand, I want your help on this. Jump in them comments the same way. You know how people love to comment till we ask the real question. Mm-hmm. Don't the Masons own City Hall? And it's the white Masonry group, not the Prick Hall or any of the black Masonry group. I'm being facetious. But yeah, it's the white Masonry group. And I thought they owned it. And I thought that they still had meetings there because you can see the plaque when you go upstairs. Just look at every area of your city government and start to ask where the leaks are really coming from. That's when you start to hear these things that all come together. So now we had a chance to house mothers. Now maybe we need to do a study and see how many single homeless mothers were there. But you won't know because you removed the woman that was over the small, and I'm sorry for forgetting your name. I'm going to remember it, but you removed her, and you can comment, people. If you're watching me, jump in them comments and put her name there. It starts with a P. But you removed her, and you didn't even invite her to the planning moving forward. You yanked the $2.9 million, so she went ahead and tried to get the funding from elsewhere. She's still trying to do it. You yanked that. But then you didn't even invite her in when it was time to plan for the next time around. We know Governor Tate doesn't like black people. We know the residents of Madison who sit quietly by while JPS gets raped for all of its goods, its resources, and gets shut down. We know those residents don't care. We know the leadership of Madison and Ridgeland doesn't care about black people because they allow it to happen and they make deals that cut us out consistently. Consistently. We've seen Ridgeland get accused of dropping homeless folk off in Jackson. Pearl get accused of dropping off. Madison Flo would get accused of these things, right? We saw this when Governor Tate was getting pandemic storm money. Not pandemic, but storm money. We saw at the private white institutions, new jumbotrons that looked like they cost at least $500,000 go up. And we saw JPS being told you can apply for $50,000. You can't use it on any new structures and you may not get it. So we know that your handlers don't like us and want to see us gone. But we've known that since we were enslaved here. We've known that since syphilis, since the Mississippi hysterectomy. We've known since you sent slaves to Mississippi to get broken. You already a slave in South Carolina. You try to run away, we're going to send you to Mississippi. We knew what it was. Because you got some black people out here that are pointing at you, but they're afraid to point at who's doing it to them. Those are the ones that's getting that money. They'll stick their tongue out at Mayor Lumumba, but you ain't never heard Stokes call out one white person in the governor's administration. Hell, even when he called out the sheriff, he called him a hoghead so he could back up later like, I ain't mean you, sheriff. I was talking about the other hog-headed bastard. None of these people are standing on 10. And before you lose it, go ahead and stand up because they're just out there giving it out. And then you got the nerve for people from Madison. Let me talk to you all for a moment when y'all jump in these chats on my page. They think I'm not seeing it because I don't talk about it. But first off, I'm probably with the children, right? I'm probably trying to do something productive, like KP said, at least one thing productive. But you all jump on there and the whole world can see how racist and prejudiced you are. Madison, Flowood, Pearl, these little comments you all make. That's why you're the South you try to fight against. When you travel and you go on vacation to New York and Massachusetts, you try to explain to them, no, it's not like Mississippi burning. We're not like that. This is why they can see the comments. So they see gentrification happen, and then they see you jump in. Well, what Jackson needs to do is take care of itself better. Governor Tate just went public saying we've shown that we can't handle our own water system. And the only one that's showing you that they can't handle something probably work with you. That's Kenneth Stokes. The only one acting a big enough fool for you to even make that comment. And he's only one person on the city council.
We never had control of it.
Yeah, there you go. You're trying to stop. What happens is you see this sway coming. The people are waking up. Well, we got to put our own people in there before they put their people in there. Tarkin, they're talking about KP run? No. KP's supposed to be from a certain area, come from a certain lineage. He's supposed to do certain things, and that's all he's supposed to be. What the hell are you talking about? Telling somebody you a leader. Telling somebody that you can lead people out of a different situation. Telling somebody you can teach them how to take over their own businesses and how to fight again. Who the hell are you, KP? If you don't get your black ass back to the community you came from and sit the hell down. And there's black people keeping that in line. That's what they think of him. I know, because when you welcomed me to the table, you said it. That's right. I sat at the table. I just kicked the chair and started throwing food on other black people there. And they kicked me out. I got invited to the table. I started throwing rolls at them Negroes. I didn't know you was here. Mother, you over here selling them out? They got me out, and I promise you, look at my resume. I've got invited to the table. I need to learn how to keep it low sometimes. I be picking up grits at the table. You lying. You preaching it. You telling people, yeah. And they over there taking 10,000, 2,000, taking it. Well, sir, up there with the white man, I'm there. I'll sit at a meeting.
Officer, now you said you was at the table, but I wasn't at the table.
They try to bring you?
Yeah, they did. I ain't gonna lie. But you know what I'm trying to say. I got tested.
Yes.
Either I want to do this or do I want to stay?
That's why you think I said what I just said.
Yeah.
He gets tested all the time, man. Come on back here, man. Pick the pistol up, young man. You know what we do.
He right
man.
there, get him now.
You know what we do, bro. You go out there. You not, man. You can't be nothing out there. Man, even look at your boy. Even look at your little mentor. He got locked up. He can't do it. Look, why don't you just they want to push you. They see that power. They want you not to value him. Big up to the sister that rolled up to him when he was doing his first courthouse reporting. And the sister rolled up and said, "What you doing, young man? You doing something big, ain't you?" And she could feel it exuding off of him. Because to sit in your city where they told you this is what you should be and break the ceiling. He's already broken the ceiling. It's drywall on his shoulders. And all these other young men we work with, they just not going to put him on WLBT. because the WLBT wants to make you think that they're taking the other direction. Well, once you watch Make It Make Sense, you're a fool, and you did it to yourself. We're showing you can be everything they name you of, and you can change yourself. In the meantime, you got a city council trying to convince black men they ain't shit. I'm so sorry to those of y'all that don't like hearing that. I'm talking to my father, but that's what they do.
Mainly Stokes.
Yeah, mainly him is doing it. Yeah, but they out there trying to convince though. They're trying to convince black, but the city council went along right with it.
Yeah, they went along.
No, you don't get protected anymore.
He's protected by the city council.
Yeah. Your abstaining means nothing to us going forward. Your coughing while Ted Hennepin insults us means nothing to us going forward. Say no. Like that young brother told the Democrats when he was talking to them, we want reparations. Give me my check or no vote. That's what he told him in the middle of their conference. We're not scared of Donald Trump, and that's what I said. We're not scared of Governor Tate. We're not scared of Mayor Horn.
Ain't scared of Prado.
We're not scared of Prado. I wouldn't even name him in there. He wasn't even that high up to be there. But they can all do things to us.
Bang.
You know what we're scared of? And I'm not scared. This ain't gonna say nothing. You know what concerns me? The Negro that will take $1 from Prado to knock a truth teller off. That's what's scary. A Negro that would take $1 from Tate and take $1 from Trey Lamar and work with Shonda Yates to knock us off. They're scary. That's what's scary. The one inside, how can you go to sleep when someone inside the house might call the robbers and let them in the back door? That's what Jackson feels like. So I'll ride with my hand in the book bag. That's fine. Because of Brother Medgar, that's fine. I mean it. Because of Sister Fanny, Brother Vernon, it's fine. It's not okay, but it's fine. And some people enjoy it. I don't. Some people you won't get flamed up playing around with. But why does Prado even think he has that power? Because of black men like Mayor Horn, who welcomed him in for the benefit it gave him.
For that dough.
For that dough. Weak men make hard times, Jackson. God damn it. When you're asking what's happening, don't look past the slogan we don't do. Weak men make hard times. Hard times make strong men. We came out of enslavement in the South with good hard men that made decent times for ex-enslaved people. And just like that first black Republican that signed the only black person to sign the Mississippi Constitution. They gave him a store. He used to be a slave. They gave him a store. First time your freedom got compromised by a black person in Mississippi was when the Constitution was signed after Reconstruction or after slavery ended, and they gave him a store. What you getting sold out for now? The Gulf Park, they didn't even get their cameras at Lake Caroline or their new golf course upgrades.
It's even worse.
At least that Negro back in slavery, when enslavement ended, got a store. This administration, all they asked for you was two things. We want the peak golf, so when we go to play golf, we can play as nice as the white people in Madison play. Right? And the second thing we want, put up some cameras over behind Beasley in case the rest of those Negroes figure out what we've done. I want to see him coming. You know what Tate said to them? No and no. They just out here giving it out. Tate said no and no. You know what he said? You still got that lawsuit going at the airport, don't you, boy? Hey, boy, drop that lawsuit like a good little nigger, and I'll go ahead and I'll give you a little more chip. Come in. Come over here. Let me feed you. Open your mouth, boy. That's what he said to them. Go read the article that your governor said. He said, no, you just gave him the airport. You gave him the water. You didn't fight the school takeover. And he said, hold on, boy. This is Mississippi. You still ain't give me everything in your pockets. Pat your pockets. What else you got in them pockets, man? Don't you got a lawsuit in them pockets? You ain't getting nothing.
And
Jackson, you businessman.
What he do after that when he got pocket check? Just let himself.
And what did he do? You know what? You're right. After they patted his pockets,
You can have it.
you can have it. He put his hands up. You can take it.
Coward.
He's
Yeah, he's much more than the
John's
coward.
not a coward. No. John is brave. When he went on that show, on 103.5, with Solly Norwood. Was it Solly on there? I'm sorry, Solly, if it wasn't you. Who was that show on 103 with a big wig politicians, black boule type politicians going there and talk to each other because they think none of you are listening. But it's on Sundays at like 11 on 103.5, and I'll post about it because I reflowed it to you. But they went on there and they congratulated Horn. They said, Horn, first, and you know the big politicians I'm talking about. They said, we want to congratulate you for the courage. Jackson, do you feel like your leader has been courageous for you right now? They said you had the courage to do this. It took somebody strong enough to shut those regular Negroes down and set them off so that the boule and uppers could get something. You did it, John. You had the courage to let your people go. You're not asking them to let them go. You had the courage to let your people go.
Proud of you.
Yeah, we're proud of you, John. That's what they said. I'm going to figure out the names. They bought them on the radio and said that. You selling the city away. And if we got to have something, and in a moment we were all going to be poor, I'd rather 10% of us have money and the rest of them Negroes land where they land. And that was the Blossom Apartment response. That was the Blossom Apartment response. And that's why we keep bringing up Blossom Apartment, because we want you to understand that all of these decisions are going to hurt you.
You know, I asked one of his lobbyists at the city council. I was like,
well, the young man in the fedora.
Yeah. I was like, well, why he? Well, he was like, we did everything we could have done. We gave him a 5-day extension. We brought the fire truck out there.
Virginia? What do you mean we? Oh, he was probably helping from Virginia.
Because he wasn't out there. I didn't see him.
Oh. He's okay.
He's a lobbyist. I don't know what he is.
Oh, he may be a lobbyist.
But
I don't know what he is. Okay.
He goes to say that, and we had to move him out of there because of the mold. I was like, so you gonna sit here and tell me it's because of mold why y'all moved? I said,
hey, Blossom, tell us if that's true.
I said, that's exactly what I said. I said, so if you would have went out there and lined all the people up and said, look, we got to get y'all out of here because of the mold. So I don't care if y'all ain't pay your bill, all this. The mold's got, come on.
So you're telling me you left there, but let's go even further. Good sir, Mr. Fedora. So you knew that there was mold in there and you left them in there until Tony didn't pay the bill. Which one is it? Which one is it?
Why you ain't gonna
left them in there full of mold, or you moved them out because the mold can't grow in 10 days. So from the moment they got 5 days. Yeah. So that mold either grew in them 5 days or you knew there was mold in there.
Yep.
Mr. Fedora, which one is it? Either one is wrong. You left them dying from mold or you kicked them out. And what's going to happen there? But 5 days, and what did y'all do? You know what he did in 5 days? He told them they ain't getting no more time. That was the only announcement he made. Only announcement he made was to tell them, Poor People's Campaign, People's Advocacy Institute, who you think went down there handing out food? One Voice, Mississippi Rapid, all of Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition was down there.
The whole,
that's how folks was eating. For a moment, there were folks that had some chicken, some pizza, some water. There was no one down there. It was the people from the street, people were demonizing. Shout out Doodleville.
It's on
people
tape.
Bringing their own people down there. These are the same people that you saw people trying to and this is what I'm talking about. So when you see Stokes say to people, I'm going to introduce a law that says I can't clean up my act as a person with a felony. I can't clean up my act, right? And then you look at racist white podcasters that tried to turn folks from the area into, remember when they got locked up and they tried to say they were selling drugs and things and tried to break them down? You see Kenneth Stokes using the same strategy as poor racist white people. That's the podcast I'm talking about, the poor racist white guy. Yeah. So you see Stokes taking this. I don't care about him. It's when Stokes does it that it's a problem. Because we can control that. I don't care about people that move to Rankin County and talk about you. Why would you care? You have to learn sometimes to focus, man. They live off of you. If everything they talk about is you know what you call them? You can start calling that racist podcast. I'll give you another way to call them. Call them NBA. Because it don't work if you're not there. Pull all the black players out the NBA. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. That's him. That's NBA. That's most of these podcasters. The Republican black podcasters too, Wade in the Water, that's them. All they have is you, black people of Jackson. They don't even care about the black people outside of there. You know why they don't care about them? Because they're not speaking up and they're not able to speak up. So they focus on you and Jackson. You're the problem, Hinds County, because you got the nerve to open your mouth and speak. And you're the one that the white racist, white supremacist power wants to be quiet. So they pull out their checkbook. That's like we talk about with Prado. They pull out their checkbook and they lick them old. They start writing them checks. And they turn it to the person. Take a look at that, young buddy. The person looks at it and says, I stand with my people. Oh, you do? Come here. Let me add 2 zeros there. Look at that. Give me a moment. Let me call. Hey, honey, I'm not coming home tonight. I know that's from the movie whatchamacallit, but that's how it be. That's how it be. If you remember the movie, what was that movie? The little pistol shot when the woman called the white man, met the black woman, and called his wife and was like, "I'm not coming home. I done met sunshine." That's what happens. They offer our leaders money. Our leaders be like, "No, I won't betray my people." Add another zero, Bill. No, I won't betray my people.
Starting crumbling.
Add one more zero, Bill. Well, can you at least make sure you let the babies get some water on the weekends? God damn. Another one bites the dust. But you ain't got to wait until they unredact the files. Me and KP here. We're going to unredact them real time. You ain't got to worry about CONTELPRO 30 years down the line. We're going to tell you right now who take money from slumlords. We're going to tell you right now who take $1 under the table to shut up a mouth on top of the table. We're going to tell you right now which one of your councilmen, Gibbs, which one of the people working in your administration had trucks that Waste Management wanted to rent, so had an investment in Waste Management holding that contract. Why would Stokes have such an investment in a rich white prison building company keeping a contract in an all-black city if it was more expensive? They're fickle and uneducated. Don't worry about them. They won't ask those questions. These are all the questions that the North Jackson and Downtown Jackson partners asked John Horn when he told them, we can pull this off. How you going to pull it off? You got all these communities that are standing up that we work with, all these communities. We just got to offer them the bag too. They'll take it, I promise you. How many people were standing up before saying no, now working with Horn for the bag? How many developers? How many entrepreneurs? How many restaurant owners? How many teachers stood up and said, we want what the others see. We want peace for our people. And as soon as Horn started spreading that money, you saw them standing behind Horn, no problem. Yeah, I know last administration I was standing with the people. This administration, I'm standing with Horn. It ain't about the streets no more. It ain't about the people no more. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. Don't talk to me about West and South Jackson no more. Talk to me about my bag. Go look at Horn when he comes out. Go look at who's standing behind him. You'll see some of the same people that were standing with Lumumba. Woo! That's why they call us Make It Make Sense, Jackson. We ain't got enough time. You'll see the Make It Make Sense. Keep Jackson beautiful. You got the woman there, Liz Brister, Downtown Jackson partner, is still on paper as what? The director of Keep Jackson Beautiful. And then Krista used to work at the city. She keeps him next to her, so he whispering in his ear everything that she wants to do so she can still control it. And the brother that was taken out from being over that, the man that was taken out from being over that, remember he was in court, he claimed I'll always be over Downtown Jackson partner. I created it. I forget names. He's still pulling strings in the background. And Liz Brister is sitting, that's to make sure Keep Jackson Beautiful doesn't make Jackson beautiful too quickly. I said it right here. Make sure Keep Jackson Beautiful doesn't make it beautiful too quickly, right? So Liz Brister from Downtown Jackson partner, these are the folks that everyone in the community knows got a room together. They didn't just put a little money. I can think about when WLBT covered an event they had to raise money for Horn. They raised $300,000 at that dinner event alone. Yeah. And then folks say that they got in that room. Some folks say they was in the room and they put up $250 off the rack. Who we gonna put this behind us? Either Henderson or Horn? Which one is gonna give us more? I think.
Henderson said, "Y'all got me fucked."
Yeah. Henderson said that ain't me. And he only said it probably because he heard us talking. I mean, you know what I like? I like him a little bit, but I was at Doolin Hall and I gave a whole speech outside. And I think Henderson heard it and was like, yeah, they taking tabs. They told us this was free money. Bye-bye. There's going to be some court cases after this. Well. So they said, I'll pick Horn. Because we okay with him holding the bag at the end. And he seems to really trust us. This is the white state, GOP. He seems to really trust us. So remember he said, I thought Henderson was my friend. You think of white, what the hell is going on here? And y'all not sitting around saying nothing? So you thought he was your friend. Then they tricked you on the water authority too. You remember?
Thought Ted was his friend.
He thought Ted was his friend first, and then Ted tricked him. That's what he said. Yeah. He cried in court. Then he believed the water authority. Who is that anyways? Who did you believe? Who told you that? They told me that I would have the majority, and they tricked us once again. And the city council said, well, shit, if that's working, let's try it too. Mayor Horn didn't tell us about the deadline. Everybody's trying it now. Everybody's trying it. Everybody just come get a piece.
And what did y'all remember about them? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember being at that fucking parade though?
They was at that parade.
I'm saying that's what the citizens remember.
Yeah.
They don't remember that they had 30 days to appeal the rate hike.
And what did they do? And they had 30 days. And in those 30 days, as the young man says, we saw them shaking booty at parades. We saw them at John Horn dressed up as a leprechaun. He might have not been. He just looked like a leprechaun. He was dressed up as a leprechaun and all green with the hat on at the parade, throwing candy out. So they had time to go out and take care of the citizens that matter, showing up to the St. Patty's Day parade. Yeah. But they didn't have time to check to see if they need to do anything else with our water before that increase came.
Classic tactic. But Jackson, y'all the classic.
And that's what you call, when you say classic tactic, tell them what that's the classic tactic of weaponizing competence.
Yep.
That's weaponizing competence, because now I simply say it's his fault. It's his fault. It's their fault.
And what does your brain go to when they say that? You immediately either go somewhere where it's probably not their fault. You don't even challenge the fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They submission y'all mind into worrying about the wrong thing so much that y'all don't even question that type of shit.
You don't even, there you go. You don't question it at all. You don't question it at all. And it's like that. And then you look at, it's so, man, I got so many notes on this page. I know, look, your head,
oh, nigga,
but
we can go for 4 more hours.
It's so many things. A lot of people don't realize that a part of Fondren is Ward 3, right?
Yeah.
And Ward 3, that's
Stokes.
Yes. But the whole thing about the street name change, that used to be under Parkinson. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
When you see me looking at that, as community members, man, they'll pull my ear sometimes. Young man, did you also know? And it's just to pull my ear and say, young man, did you also realize that street wouldn't even been under Stokes? It was under Fondren. I mean, under it would have been under Parkinson.
So he gave it to Stokes.
Yeah. He said he took it from Parkinson to do things just like that. This is the community member. You see right there, he said he took it from him so he could flex that power in doing that.
So that answers the age-old question. He wants to keep the street beefs alive.
That's why I went back to that, because you made such a good point, and you didn't have none of that conversation.
Give me that, Parkinson.
And Parkinson's the one that just let Kenny take it back. You didn't hear him. That's why I say nobody can be exempt here.
Yeah, whole city council.
I didn't smack you, but I certainly didn't grab your hand.
We probably cut Tina Clay some slack a little bit.
No, but no, we used to before, because she's abstained instead of saying no. But we didn't cut her slack. What we said was we held her accountable, but we also said she's the one that keeps throwing flags up. So sometimes you got to imagine if there's a little man behind her with a pistol, like, you better not say something. Oh, yeah. At least she throw them flags out. You know what I mean? Every time she'll throw a flag up. Now, do we want to see more? Absolutely. But sometimes, and you're going to work with what someone's doing versus, because you're looking at these men sitting up here doing nothing. And there's one woman sitting up there constantly like, hey, I don't like this. So yeah, no, we're not cutting no more slacks. Abstaining, we got to get strong nose in there. And I think we have in the past gave people breaks that abstain. But no, not anymore. But yeah, I don't think that I think Parkinson let him know, because I don't think he wanted. And this is me saying it. And if he tells me differently, that's fine. I don't think he wanted the people from that ward anyway. I don't think he wanted the people that were over there. I don't personally. So I think that, because otherwise I don't think he would just let him go over there and just do that down there. And you're just talking about all those different parts. A lot of people are not voting for Stokes again. That's the reality. You go down Powers Avenue, he's not getting Georgetown. A lot of people are not voting for him. And so what you have is a lame duck, and that's dangerous. Because a lame duck, you know you're on the way out, or you know you're not going to win again. So you basically just sit there and do things like this, like you're doing. You have a city council meeting where you know that water is going to be talked about that night. Let's talk about the goal of Stokes acting up in that meeting. The goal was to stop that water conversation from coming forward. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
And to make him relevant again.
Executive session they
took it into. So the goal of even the name change in the first place to your boy was to get attention away from what it was on and bring it back to me, Mr. Stokes. That's the whole goal. He only did the name change for that, and he only took the area from Parkinson for that, which means Parkinson gave it to him for that, which means you got to light them all up. They playing games with you.
So it's bigger than what they was making.
Yes, bigger. They knew what that was. They knew what they were handing around. They knew Stokes had them. And then Stokes introduced it. They didn't call him out. No one from city council said you're playing games with these people while the water may leave. So that means every single member of city council had an investment in that lie. Because none of you said nothing. And you all know that he just got that from Parkinson. Or from Ward 7, excuse me. And nobody spoke up to say that. Well, maybe that's why you did that deal or you wanted that. So now, instead of us focusing on what we should focus on, which was at that time, Kenneth Stokes sitting on cars in his neighborhood, putting personal things on the city council agenda, on videotape, yelling out the window, laughing.
Shit.
What did you say?
Street shit.
Yep. Yelling out the window, laughing at people that had been raped or people they knew that had been raped and laughing that they didn't receive medical care afterwards on video. Ethics complaint.
Oh, yeah.
And once you file that ethics complaint, who you think gonna stand by him from the state after he laughs at people being raped and not getting medical care for that rape? Who do you think's gonna stand by him? That ethics complaint can cause him to be removed from the city council. Was that Minnesota? They voted every single city council member out for voting for them data centers. You all think in Mississippi you can't do anything.
You said it was
lying.
It was Missouri.
Missouri, Missouri, excuse me. Go look it up. Missouri, we posted it. They're making you think you can't do it. You can't recall a city elected official. No one said recall. They said get him out of there. So ethics complaint. We're going to put the form online. If you think your councilman has violated one of the things under that ethics complaint, acting unprofessional, doing things that stop your city from moving forward, you do remember last session, the whole city council got together and wrote up a vote of no confidence in the previous mayor, Lumumba, which you do realize that didn't meant nothing, could stop nothing, but that's what they did. So learn your power. They wrote up a whole vote of no confidence against the previous mayor. So they're showing you what your power is. Well, what could 30,000 of us do with our vote of no confidence? What does that look like? Do the Democrats have to wake up and listen? Because that's 30,000 votes that were coming to you too. Because once you get 30,000 signed voters, now we got to ask the Democrats, are you going to pressure them to do something different? Maybe John will listen to you if you won't listen to us. That's the way this works, you all. That's why they don't want you to listen to us. Because they know we don't just prophesize or talk. We organize and we deliver. The delivery is you. We give you the information and you're going to show up. We're no great wizards. We just believe in you. You get what I mean? And we think you're intelligent. So we think if we tell you that someone's throwing a rock and hiding a hand, you'll stand up and you'll fight back. And that's what you've been doing. And that's why people have been making them phone calls. Now you got to shut them up. You got to shut them people up.
Bills all over the place for us, man.
Dr. King was trying to fight integration, which was a point that got brought to the light far before Dr. King was put in that position, at least 10, 15, 20 years before. So Dr. King had a pedestal to stand on, right? They gave it to him, right? I'm just being real. They gave it to him. I'm very close to that. Grandfather sat with Dr. King and helped advise him on how to act in certain areas, right? But they gave him the message. Look at everyone else. They were all given a message. Malcolm X, given a message. Marcus Garvey came, he had a little bit of his own message. They got him out of there quick. Put him on a ship. He's speaking too much from the hip. Get him out of here. Let's get some strong black people like WEB to speak against him, right? So you got him out of there. But think about what me and a young man talk to you about. We talk about something that's not ours. It's thoughts, ideas, and then realities and truths. They float out there. If they shoot us, you can still grab that idea. You can still go to Michael Watson's Secretary of State website every day and put in a business and see who owns it and who's getting something. You can still go to Michael Watson's Secretary of State website and pull campaign donations and look at all of their donations going as far back as you want.
Yeah, what Fred Hampton said, you can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution.
That's right. And this is a different revolution, you all. Because revolutions have always been bodied. They've always been controlled. Because any revolution that has to do with anything physical, unfortunately, is a portion of the revolution. It's not the birth of it. The birth of a revolution is only in thought. None of our revolutions. You go back to Dempsey. What's my brother's name? They never want to tell about the brother that revolted. Not just Nat Turner. But any of the revolts, it was a thought that caused the revolt. Once all of those black men agreed in their head, we're going to slaughter anyone that stands in our way of freedom. Woman, child, grandmother, because a child will wake up screaming. That would alert the white slave owners and enslavement owners. They would come in and get you to chop that child's head off. Just like Harriet Tubman had to put chloroform or something over them babies' mouths. They knew them babies may not wake up. if they put some over there to quiet them down, but you got to save the group. Now we've got Negroes that lead us, our church leaders, our imams, our mayors, our politicians. They don't give a damn about the group. They trying to save themselves. They readjusting that furniture. They came to the table and found out there was only 5 seats and there's 40 million black people in America. They had a choice to make. To go to black people and tell them you got to build your own table, or get them and their 5 friends and sit down and eat. And these greedy bastards have eaten ever since. I'm talking about your politicians here, your politicians over there in California, and I'm talking about your politicians that signed that Super Predator Act locking up young black boys. Get the hell out of here. Charles Rango, rest I think he passed. Get the hell out of here, all of them. Not the one that I ain't gonna do that. The ones that are still alive to sign that Super Predator bill. You should be ashamed of yourself along with the Clintons signing that bill. Oh, we thought at that time, you thought locking up young black boys with no reason. I got committed to Department of Youth Services. I got locked up under that. You know what committed means? It means that I hadn't stolen a damn hat before, and they can leave you in DYS until you're 18 from 13. You're committed to the Department of Youth Services, wherever you are. Henley is Henley here.
Hey, what's up with that? Remember the new law where they can charge a child under the age of 18?
That's right. If there's a gun.
There's a gun involved, yeah.
This is the same thing as the Super Predator Act. And then these Negroes in office right now. Only 2, I think, Fabian Nelson spoke up about. He's the only one that said anything that meant anything. And someone else said something, boo. Only Fabian Nelson spoke up and said, from a morality standpoint, this is wrong. Right? Didn't have to pander to the white GOP. Well, what if we're giving their information to the school? Why don't you just resign, you weak bastard? Just resign. If it hurts you that much to speak up to a white man, leave. Let some young men come in that don't have that fear, even if they lose, because you losing like a coward. You're not even inspiring our youth. At least when Fannie Lou Hamer walked with that broken walk, man, that walk inspires me every time I play it back. Boy, it'd be 1 a.m. I got to write a show for the next day. I'll play that video or something and I'll watch her walk up in that delegation when she came to speak in D.C. I look at that walk where them men beat her with irons, cried while they were doing it, and she told them, keep doing it. Talk about a goddamn hero. She told them, keep doing it. And you see these stupid Negroes on right now where they'll be on a train. These are these people that have been separated from them ancestors. I wasn't. I learned from the great grandmommies, from the ones that talked to the ones that worked on the plantation, right? So now you got people on a train. There'll be 5 black men sitting down. It'll be a white man screaming at people. It'll be a black woman that stands up and says, shut up, you da-da-da. And a black man just sitting there. He don't touch her. The black men just sitting there. And you got people, look at these men. They ain't shit. You so stupid. You don't understand that that's how we learned it. When the black man jumped, everybody died. You ignorant sons of gun. When the black man in Mississippi lifted his hand up, the whole community got burned down. You'd be better off with a black woman spitting in a white man's face than letting a black man raise his hand to a white man. But you don't know your history. So you don't understand that as a black man, when I'm on a train and you're talking to a black woman, I'm waiting for one thing. That action. I know what's going to happen if I jump up and be like, man, sit the hell down. You could kill me and you're going to go home.
Yeah.
You're going to choke them and you're going to go home. But see, some of you don't understand your history. That's why when Kenneth Stokes says, go throw bottles at Rankin County sheriffs, and understands that there's rivers with black bodies littering the bottom of it. But he doesn't say go file a lawsuit in D.C. He doesn't say go get educated, then come back and stay in your city and fight. He says go throw bottles at them. That's a charge for launching a projectile. That's the charge for throwing a bottle at an officer.
You got the right to kill.
Yeah. He knew that. He can practice law in this country, and he had in courthouses. And he told black people to go launch projectiles at Rankin County Police.
Sound like an agent to me.
Come on. That's where we are. And so we're at a point, we're going to land this because we appreciate you all for staying in there. Today was important because today we learned, like yesterday we learned, that yesterday's price ain't today's price for us either. So the same way we've changed the price on the public and what they can do to you, they're upping the price on us. They sending the dogs in. They taking away opportunities. Trees are falling. Cables are getting cut. Children are getting kicked out of school. Wives are getting drugged. We'll never talk to you about the attack because we know you'll get angry, and we don't need anger right now. We need focus. We need you to focus on what you need to do. Don't worry about us. Worry about your family. Just use the fact they won't leave us alone to know somebody's hurting my people, and it's been going on far too long. We bring news of glad tidings, my people. This is a beautiful day. Upper room ain't that bad when you do the right thing on a lower room. Them people fighting to stay here, and I want to be here. Who said this? Longevity has its place. Of course I want to see the top of that mountain. Nah, that's not me. Fuck that mountaintop, man. I just want us to get active.
Yeah.
I love my people, but forget that. Just get active. That's what life is. What's here? Y'all are living dead, man. Y'all are living staying quiet, man. Y'all are the dead man walking.
One of my songs, I say, I keep a Glock for the low because that mountain might be full of germs.
Woo! Dead man walking. I'm a live man who may die. I'll take it. I'll take it. You keeping your mouth shut for that bag. You keeping your mouth shut for that bag. I'll take it. Because guess what? I'm going to be in the upper room looking down when you come. Or I'm going to come to the upper room and you're going to be in the lower room. And I'm going to look down and be like, yeah, they got him. They sent them boys from Brandon or somewhere to get me. I thought you'd be up here with me, man. Why you down in hell? Oh, you thought I had no backup, huh? Hope you enjoy that bag you got down there. Oh, God don't accept that currency? Oh. Throw up some ice to the nicest MC. That's what it is, Jackson. They trying to stop that voice. They trying to cut that box. Because we saying that voice box. We saying too much. We came here because they was calling in 90.1 like crazy. Get them off there. They were pulling strings. I'll give you a pharmacy in Midlothian. They were just the stuff they didn't have, just lying. Yep. I'll give you 2 first-round draft picks. Get them off air. Wait, what? Over here promising draft picks? Anything. I brought him to when was that 9.1? I mean, anything. Man, you should have heard. They were called into that front area, right? Where Handyman and them sit. Wilding. Man, shut them down. Why you letting them say that?
Get them niggas with that.
I'll be on the other side, like, yeah, let me go in. Gear shifts. And I take off on them. Just like Alfredo. But I was just talking about your little gas stations being coded incorrectly with your little Black Excellence water. You want to run up on me at the light? Let's talk about how many other cities you in. Let's talk about what you're doing back in your home country. What that white look like. Let's look into that. Let's look into what you've done this whole 20 years you've been here. Because we from where you've been going to have fun. Well, let's talk about that. You should have left us the hell alone when we said you was coded incorrectly and fixed that. Instead, you want to try to get tough in a 90% black city because you got black men to take your dollar. I know they will. I know I'm going to hurt a little bit. I know it's coming. I told my son, I know it's coming. Tell my son, leave it alone, live for you. They're going to hurt me somewhere. I'll never work in the field that I'm in. You know, if you all don't know, my field is telecommunications management. I already know that the C-Spy jobs, they probably don't want the boy now. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to make those decisions. You're making $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a week. Do I want to keep this or do I want to support my people? You got to make those decisions. And see, rarely do we make the right decision. And those that would make the right decision, a lot of you soldiers, they never give you a chance to get up there. It only took me because I sounded like I would make the right decision. Oh, that black man's intelligent. I don't sound like a GED. I don't sound like I have a felony. I don't sound like I done sat in jail and came from where everyone else. I don't sound like that. So you mistook me. I'm a professional.
Don't sound like you've been to shootouts.
I don't sound like I've been to shootouts. I don't sound like my friend done said I got shot just to run by me after I stopped to help him. Rest in peace, Rick. Love you, brother. I don't sound like that. I don't sound like I got friends that blew their heads off because they couldn't get by the demons that they grew up with. And I'm watching them same demons they put on these babies. You don't understand what I've been through, so you don't know who I am. So you sending them dollars in, and I'm burning them bitches. And I'm sending them back to you on kites.
On fire.
On fire. I'm shooting them back at you. You better take that money and wipe you know what with it. And don't talk to me because I don't record conversations. I just put it right out the next day. Or I just go live. I'm known for going live. I'm not that pretty of a man. I used to not like going live. I don't like seeing my face on TV. There's something wrong with everything. You know, I promise you that's how I feel. One day my daughter was like, Daddy, you got to stop thinking about that. Go live. I went live and I told her I'm taking it down. Where was it at? It was when I was in front of the store across from 90.1. When JPD came out and started protecting the Indian store and moving all the black people away, acting as the Indian store security and let the little Indian girl or the light-skinned girl hide on the side of the building, I got emotional. I went live and I started talking facts. I went home and I went to take it down because I was like, I don't like when I start talking like that. It was my 14-year-old daughter, the courage of children. She said, I'm talking about without her voice shaking. Tuka said, Daddy, what? Daddy, if you wasn't talking, they wouldn't be watching and listening. They wouldn't be so mad. And I said, out the mouth of babes. And I left that up. Then I went live at City Hall. I went live again, and people loved it because I'm just telling you what's there. So as we take all these steps, what we pray is we're going to leave you. We're going to leave you with a prayer. And it's not a prayer in the way you think. We're going to talk about it. But the things that we pray for when you call us and ask us to be quiet, when you send friends to my wife and you give opportunities and you let me know I could be very wealthy and I could be very well off, right? You're talking to somebody that very well could be well off. Somebody that made $150,000. It took me 20 years to build to that. Started as a rep on the phone. Thank you for calling Verizon. Worked in every department I could to build myself up to get an opportunity as a felon with a GED because I knew I couldn't go the other route. I knew I had to build myself in a company because every time that question said, have you been convicted of a felony? My chance went out the window. So I grabbed that 19 onto Verizon and I held on and I built up. And then I started getting trusted. Then I started leading and managing. And then at a certain point, I learned it doesn't matter what you did if you can sell enough money. Once you sold the company $1.45 billion, I came down here to work. I signed up for a telecommunications company down here. And I tell you, that was before I started talking. I just got out. And they said to me, well, hold on, you have a felony on your record. I know a lot of y'all been not hired. I said to them, this is what I'll tell you. I work for Verizon. The company that leads you by football stadiums hired me and I made them over $1.4 billion in one session. So do what you need to do. I got hired and I worked there. Then I left. Money means everything. And and I say all that to say I've made quite a few applications since I've spoken the truth. And I've had people that work there call me and say, Tarek. Yeah, that's not what you're going to do down here anymore, buddy. So I may be at Wendy's next because I'll work anyway to feed my family. You got the wrong one if you think I see something wrong working at Wendy's to feed your family. And that's the part that they don't like. And that's why they got to get you out of there.
That makes so many people uncomfortable.
Yeah, you may. I was just about to point. Your willingness to take the shorts, to embrace the shorts, that's what makes people uncomfortable. When I can't trick you out your value. You know how people in jail, they get free, they're on parole, you're not going to trick me out of my freedom. When they can't trick him out of his destiny, man, you're supposed to be out there doing what you know, man, what you come from, man. Go out there, man. You know what you're supposed to be doing. And you know how it gets more frantic as they see it. And when I say they, I'm talking about that white supremacist side. Because they know that he's too real. It's people that he's their baby. You got to get him out of there. Because once he starts talking and growing, we got a problem. That's your problem. Your problem of black men that do better. That's a problem to the state of Mississippi, to Mayor John Horn, and to Kenneth Stokes and the Jackson City Council. Black men that do better. And I'll tell you why. Because if the regular black man starts running for city council, if the average Jacksonian starts running for mayor and gets in, that bag dries up. That's why. Then that small little 10% in Jackson that were directing them cameras over to Beasley, they don't get to hold the bag anymore. Your children are being pushed back into the dirt so they don't grow enough. They're lions. They're killing the cubs so the cubs can never challenge them. There you go. Damn. That's Jackson, Mayor Horn, and the city council right now. And the people within the community that support Stokes. So all those folks you see Stokes drag out of bed into that city council meeting don't even know where they are sometimes. That's against him, not against you, sisters. I'm sorry he did that. You got one woman saying she's the president of the Homeowners Association. She wasn't. What was the woman's name that came in and she said, I'm the president of the Homeowners Association. No, you're not. And Stokes hasn't been to a Homeowners Association meeting in forever when I talked to him.
In Georgetown?
Yeah. What was the, my little nose, I ain't gonna waste people's time. But no, the woman that came out and said she was the president of the Homeowners Association.
She wasn't?
No. We go see the problem with y'all is y'all say stuff and think we ain't gonna go talk to the people that live there. Stop doing that. The moment you say it, we just write it down and we're there anyways, right? We just look up and like, hey, sis, she also said this. We over there eating. Sister bringing us over, cooking us some good food. We going back in the houses. We just asked the question while we're there. And I was trying to find it, but I can't see it. But yeah, I want to know Miss Geneva Johnson is not the Neighborhood Association president. Miss Norma Michaels is, and Kenny ain't been to one meeting. I write down what my people tell me. I'm sorry. It's you know, I ain't gonna put you on blast. But I go to these neighbors and I ask them. We already there. We say, hey, is this true? Yeah. So she came on and represented herself as the Neighborhood Associate president. But Miss Norma Michaels was, and I didn't hear from Miss Norma Michaels say that she wanted. I didn't hear her come up and support Stokes at all. So you bringing the same few people out over and over again, using these people, and then you got the whole community going out writing against you. That was the same sister that said, I tried to stick up for some of the councilmen. I said, well, let's not take away all the good that they do. I'm sure there's some good too. And that's when she was like, good, like what? What, you inviting people to come to Bullies for unlimited haul, and then you just let 10 people eat and the other 50 got to stay outside? And then I turned to the other lady sitting there. I was like, man, I ain't going to do that. And that's when it starts getting ugly. It's like dominoes. The brother staying there, yes, he do. That's the thing about your people. They'll say exactly what happened. They'll say exactly what happened. So I think that we have to, step this back up. You know, I think folks have to reach out to Steve Hutton and ask him why he wanted to take that Friday away from the children. Well, maybe a good reason. Just asking, why did you want to take that Friday from the children? And then drive by that golf course every freaking Friday. And if you see some white folks playing on that, been invited to play on that course, boy, you light him up. That's what keeping it real looks like. You got to inspect what you're expecting. Don't just threaten and go turn over. You better get him that Friday back. And if he doesn't, then every Friday you send 1 or 2 people to camp out and watch what they're doing. What did you take this from our babies for? And you're going to see that money flow. Receipts aren't only found in bank accounts. Sometimes you can see them right in front of you. You got to believe your eyes. So you got to say to him, y'all going to find Steve Hutton and ask him, why did you give that Friday away? Oh, by the way, that program doesn't cost a penny for the city. So don't let him tell you because of cost. It doesn't cost a penny for those children to go to that golf course. Been doing it for 30 years. Doesn't cost a penny. You took away the skating park. 17 schools shut down. You ain't opened up no new baseball programs. You took down every backboard. You closed every swimming pool, right? Not you. I'm not saying Horn's administration. I'm talking about what's happened. And now you take away their Friday on the golf course. The one day where when I was growing up in the summer, Friday was when the pistols got loaded. Friday is when we were about to light it up for the weekend. And I'm not saying that with pride. I was a 14, 15-year-old. So on the one day the children probably need to be at work the most, you cut that day for what, Pete? It's Pete Golf Center. His name's not Pete. But why'd you cut it, Steve? That's what we want to know. And is Steve Hutton? He's not even from Jackson. He's from Madison. I don't know that. I'm not going to say anything. That's Stokes' backyard too. He didn't say nothing about that, by the way.
Man, they don't pay property taxes.
Yeah, he didn't say nothing about that, by the way. That golf course is Stokes' backyard. You took a Friday away from the babies. Nothing he has to say about that, right? That's a city property, mind you. You can do what they want. They didn't say nothing about that. There was a memorandum of understanding which was approved and it went through legal, and the city updated. The Executive Grove Park Junior Golf, there it is, Grove Park Junior Golf Clinic. I was looking for the name of it. Say it again. Say the name of it. Gold, what? I had to hook back up, guys. The name of it is Grove Park Junior Golf Clinic.
Grove Park Junior
Golf
Clinic. Yes.
And the city property, mind you. So the first understanding was that them kids, those kids would have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on that golf course. The city owns it. It's a great thing, right? And the executive over the Grove Park Junior Golf Clinic signed off on the first one. She's over the clinic. They then, without her, took the Friday away, but then resubmitted it without her signature on it, without her having anything. The person who's over the program that brings the children there, they resubmitted without her, basically saying you better take this 4 days and be happy. Whose city is this? Who is the city rising for? Our children are just losing. First, you make an ordinance that asks, can they go work for people instead of going to school at 14? Instead of focusing on school, internship, sports, and the next level, you make an ordinance, city council, that says, encourage businesses come hire our babies. You cancel the skate park. You sell Chastain to a school that's begging to be part of the private white association. We're talking about Redeemer Church, and we're talking about the fact that they bought the Chastain school and they begged to be part of the Mississippi Association of Independent Schools. And that was the association created to keep white kids from having to go to school with black kids. So you don't want nothing to do with us Negroes.
Nope.
Ain't that right, Redeemer?
Ain't that right, Lynn Fitch, with that opioid settlement? Where that money
Lane Fitch took that money and running with it. And help Frazier. We're gonna leave you alone in a minute, but stop hugging up on her like that. You see what she's doing? This is why Hillman, we said, why you up there hugged up on her like that? And who the hell put Chief Brackney thigh to thigh with this woman?
Well, Lynn?
Yeah. I don't, and listen, if I find out, Chief, you didn't know, it'll change, right? We don't give anyone unnecessary breaks, but if you're coming from Pittsburgh, we have to assume you didn't know who she was. I'm a little shaky on that because a lot of people know who Lynn Fitch is, but she ages so cool. Let me not say that. That's unnecessary to insult people. You should know who Lynn Fitch is, right? You got to keep it to the business, people, because it's about you all, not about me. You got to know who Lynn Fitch is, and if the Chief Brackney didn't know, then I understand that. But for to lean and hold someone on the waist like this that is trying to rip voting rights that Mississippians have died for, you got Mr. Frazier might not have known who she was too, because he's getting up there. Why are you not putting someone else in that position if that's the case? I'm gonna give you a pass, and it's a trap with that pass. You may be elderly and you didn't know who she was.
Over $20 million in opioid money and only spent $960,000.
Only spent $960,000. As soon as she got into the, hold on, but where did she stage her opioid press conference? In front of Jackson City Hall with Mayor John Holmes smiling next to her.
Jesus.
She ain't come to Jackson nearly one day in the last 8 years. God, it's like we had a pit bull guard in the house. And the pit bull left, and now we got a what's a dog that welcomes you? Now we got a golden retriever that just wags his tail. Come pet me, take everything. Come pet me, take everything.
A Shih Tzu.
The Shih Tzu, yeah. Just no, they mean it in that. We need a nice dog. Like this dog is just inviting everyone. Oh, come in, take it. Like you're supposed to keep people away. You realize in the previous administration, Mayor Tate would go to Flowood and hold a golf conference before he would come into Jackson. He'll go right to that line in the hospital. Now, the mayor's nasty in Jackson. I don't like him. And then he'll leave. Scared to death to come into Jackson. That man, as soon as John Horn won, he was there. Give me an Uber. I'm gone. In a heartbeat, he was there. So we got to reach out. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, that guy, when you say Steve Hunt, his name just keeps ringing the bell. I felt like he was the person that got pushed out of the city before. And came back with John. We're going to look that up. But who knows about Steve Hutton? I felt like he was involved with the city. That's a white fella that did something to us before. And I could be wrong. Yeah. I could be wrong, but
I gotta look him up.
Yeah, we're not going to sit on that. But someone reach out to him and ask him why he's taking our baby's Friday away. What they're going to do on that Friday, because you haven't created anything else for them. Reach out to your councilman and ask them what they're going to do on that Friday. So don't wait for them to come to your door. And now some conflict has happened because they're sitting there with nothing to do. A conflict is broken out, and that conflict spills over into your porch. And now you want to go on camera and say the problem is these children. Now's your time to talk, West Jackson and South Jackson. They've taken away things for our children to do. That one Friday could turn into anything. So reach out to your councilman or the councilman over that. You see these numbers right up here. We're landing this plane, but the Water Authority meeting, guys, I still didn't pull that up, Kip, I was supposed to, but I'm going to pull the exact information on it now. But the one thing we want you all to understand is that all the things that we've talked to you about, right, that I've talked to you about right now, Gateway Homeless Shelter, homeless folks, black homeless folks reporting that they're being discriminated against, giving us stories of white homeless people being driven to Madison to check their mailbox, or people staying at Gateway, being driven to Madison to check a mailbox, while black folks staying at Gateway being denied the right to go see their sickly mother and then being sent back to prison when they test strangely, when they test one way, and a white person tests, and instead of getting sent to prison, they're sent to Clinton to a rehabilitation center. These are the splits. We talked about, and let's just go right over, we talked about the tiny housing village. We talked about how they canceled that village. That $2.9 million is ARPA funds. We called out to JSU. We called out to Tougaloo, all the political departments. We called out to Valley State, and we called out to Alcorn. We need one of you in our inbox tomorrow to explain to us how ARPA funds can be then moved to a different place when we understood federal funds have to be earmarked to what they're doing. So how do federal funds earmarked to housing get switched to Clutch, a firm that consults and does studies? How do you switch from housing to do a study? We need you to tell us that. That's ARPA money, that $2.9 million. We also talked about how a lot of the young women that are giving birth that are shelterless, that feeds into that high infant mortality rate. And how 50, 60 houses were going to be built that would have housed some of those pregnant homeless women. We talked about that, but you shut that down and took that 2.9 million, right? We talked about the fact that Kendi doesn't read emails. I'm sorry, that wasn't even supposed to be a point, but that's a problem in 2026. You shouldn't be proud that you don't read emails and be missing deadlines. That's just a sidebar, okay? That may be petty, but in a good way for you. We talked about the fact that the name change, that the name changes that he keeps making to pull attention off what's happening. Some of these changes he wouldn't be able to make, but he took that area, the most recent name change, he took that area from Parkinson. Kevin Parkinson from Ward 7. And Parkinson probably didn't want it because it's more poor people. That's how the city council acts, all of them. I'm just being real. When they were doing the redistricting, you had to be there, and Parkinson wasn't there, but that's that's what they set for him. We talk about folks in the community saying that Kenny's doing a lot of things, y'all. This came not from just both. This didn't just come from us seeing him sit on cars and say, I'm going to put personal things on agenda. This didn't just come from him laughing at community members that got raped and didn't get medical attention. This came from residents talking about him pretending that he's feeding people, and he tell the staff inside to let these 10 people stay in there and eat as much as they want. Don't let them other people in. This is what the citizens are saying, right? The citizens saying, don't worry about him. He's not getting Georgetown. Come down Powers Avenue and ask us if we vote for him. This is what they're saying. They're telling us he's got, what's that street? Lavenette. I know I said that wrong. Lavinette and all those little streets. The older sister told me he may have that street and all those little streets, but we're not voting for him again. The people talking about Freedom Corner that has a store owned by two brothers. Restaurants coming. The people didn't see Kenny support that at all. Let's talk about it. Let's make it make sense. And I love when you all start talking to me. That's the same community it was like. And another thing, Miss Geneva is not the president. Thank you, sisters. Thank you, brothers. Now I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to ask enough of you all to validate it, and I'm going to talk about it. So we talked about the fact that this white gentleman, Steve Hutton, has taken away the Friday from a 5-week program that's been that way for 30 years. Steve Hutton has now rewritten the agreement himself without the executive from Grove Park Junior Golf Clinic. He rewritten it, and they've submitted and approved it to take Fridays away. This woman has never approved that. Fridays are one of the most dangerous days for our children, and they're taking it away to make their golf a better place for some adults, and they better be from the city, and even if they are, that's not acceptable. Because I guarantee you, Pete Brown Golf Course is the one place you put that camera in front of them Negroes' faces, and 50% gonna blame the children off the rap.
You know who's blaming the children?
Who's that?
Capital Grill last call. Raising the age.
You raised the age. Capital Grill last call, you raised the age now. You sure took that younger money for a long time. That paid your children's tuition. That paid your wife's hospital bills. That paid your good mortgage in Madison or wherever you lived. It's sure funny how good them young Negroes' money with bullets and all, how good it was. Lord knows what else she was getting on the low. How safe it was all them years. You were safe for you and your wife working the store with you. Y'all ever wonder that? How these people bring their wives in the store with them and the violence is going on, they know it's not going to touch them. How do they know? Are you doing a deal with people? You bringing opium in? What are you doing to make you feel so safe there?
All of a sudden, no, it's not safe.
We ain't safe in Cleveland, Mississippi. I feel a little unsafe. But you feel safe from India to Jackson. You in the deep of West Jackson. You hitting people with sticks on TV and get out. You doing all of this. How do you feel so safe they're not going to let a switch loose on you? Is you giving them something? What you doing in there? I mean, real talk, why do you feel so comfortable? Got your wife in the store. No bulletproof. You could jump over and grab someone. No pistols. They just got sticks like we tigers and shit. Get away. Hitting us with sticks, man. Like, what is going on? Like, why aren't you scared for another show? But why are you so comfortable here? I know why. I know exactly why. The same reason Gabriel Prado's little brother, Daniel Prado, who's registered on them damn Don Gabriel gas stations, why you bothered. The same reason they felt comfortable running out of Prado lofts across the street up to me and other black men in the middle and say, what y'all want? Get out of here. The street is the citizen. It's the city. I'm talking about I'm in the middle of the street, stopped in that little bit lane. And he felt that comfortable. Let me tell you why he felt comfortable. Because he got a lot of money. And there's a lot of weak Negroes in Jackson. At the top. Not you all taking it. It's a lot of weak men in Jackson. Strong woman, weak men. And I'm talking about sitting up there holding that bag. Got 100 black men, 100 black women. I'll pull from both of them and see which side both sides.
The Griot.
Yeah.
What's their name?
The griot. John Horn was the griot.
I'm saying who's the one that made him the griot?
I always stop saying it because there's so many women. I don't want to be sure. That's why I said I just said that to you, but I said you got to pull it up because I said the wrong thing a few times.
Progress or something.
I don't know. See, what if that's the wrong one? That's all the people heard. You're a woman round table. You're a woman. No, that's why I said. That's why I said I didn't know. See, the young man. Let me tell you something. He'll still call me. He'll still think I'm holding back and scared to say so. If you got an audience like this, man, you better come correct. Because there's been times I had to explain, no, that's not what I mean, but I get held. I have a bigger jury than you have. You get what I'm saying? So y'all don't understand. I don't worry about that. I worry about the young people. And y'all keeping these college people away from me. You're only going to do it for so long.
Yeah, none of them getting past.
They're going to hear it. But I'm saying, no, the students. They be trying to block them from hearing the show.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to hear it sooner or later. And when they do, when they jump online, it's a wrap because we deal with the intermediates. Y'all going to be able to talk to us and bring this on there. But yeah, anything else? What else do we touch on real quick before we let this out?
What else did we touch on?
Look on there for what we touched on. In the meantime, let me look at the public hearing. See, what I want to do, and I'm about to post this. So the public hearing is at 6 p.m. It's Monday, April 27th, 6 p.m. at the Central United Methodist Church. That's at 517 North Ferris Street in Jackson, Mississippi. That's a Take Back Our Water, but it's a water takeover public meeting. It's going to be packed. Get there early. It's going to be packed. Still come in. But that's where you can sign the petition as well. So if you want to sign that petition and you haven't been canvassed yet, then show up Monday. Again, 6, you better be there. And I'm saying that respectfully. You have to be there if you can. Show up for our elderly people that can't show up. Show up for the sister that works that can't. Show up for the brother that got a double shift and can't miss it or he'll get fired. You got to show up to that and speak what you think, but show up. So one more time, Monday, April 27th at 6 p.m., Central United Methodist Church. That's 517 North Ferris Street, Jackson, Miss. That's the Family Life Center. There's going to be a public water hearing, and we're going to get our voice in and decide if this is how we want our water to go. So you have to show up to that Monday. We have one more day to harass you about, and that'll be tomorrow. But remember what I said. Reach out and find out why our babies lost that Friday at the golf course. And remember, that's Grove Park Junior Golf Clinic. And the Steve Hutton is over the operations there or so forth. And he's the one that made the deal. And then instead of them letting us see what's going to happen, they pulled the children's golf clinic off the agenda. And when she tried to speak to Griselle, the reason we got to speak to about it, she tried to approach Griselle about it. And Griselle just turned to the left like he ain't know her. You're talking to me too much. I got an Indian church to go to. So since you don't want to answer, Griselle, then we'll bring it up here for the people to figure out, okay? And that's how we're going to do it from now on. When you don't want to answer something in city council to your constituents, we'll bring it in front of 30, 40,000 people the way all of this floats out. And we reach that many people eventually. That's what we'll do. So because Griselle in Stokes, that's in his ward, did not want to answer the executive of Grove Park Junior Golf Clinic as to why you allowed Steve Hutton, who was kicked out of the city, I think, went back to Madison, and then John Horn brought him back in, why you allowed Steve Hutton to take that Friday from them children. And then when it was challenged, why did you pull it off of the agenda? Right? Since we didn't get an answer then, let's find an answer now. So if you know Steve Hutton and you reach out to him and ask him. Then we talked about Griselle. Griselle is the council person for Grove Park, even if they're being bought by a different ward. That was a separate. These are all your citizens. Y'all better wake up. We don't have time to talk about it. Okay, let me just pause. And I know we're winding down here. Let me just pause. Because we talked about this, but this is the bigger part to me. When we started talking about the teachers' complaints about students' hygiene, they weren't complaining about them being bothered by it. They were complaining that water's getting cut off so much that their children are coming in with strong body odors, that young girls are going into bathrooms to wash their period blood off. I'm going to say you better hear it. Got 3 daughters, are washing their period blood off because they don't have water at home. 1,500 homes are getting cut off at one time, and then archaic English lock boxes putting over that water so you can't turn that water back on. And then you have black people asking, did they pay their bill? Not asking, where did the billion that we got go? Not asking, why is my bill 10 times what it costs? Not asking, how are you gauging what I use if the meter was built deep into the clay? Instead, they're asking, did they pay their bill? That is a Negro that's sick. How about Malcolm saying? That's a Negro that hates himself. We need to bring back some of them terms. All right, I'm gonna start doing some of them little things for Malcolm. That is a Negro that hates himself. Like when he said, you got these Negroes begging to sit next to white folks, to sit at the same toilets as white folks. You got Negroes talking about NASA, talking about our military. You can't step foot near them, and you talking about our military. Well, that's the same thing we got going today. Back when we used to talk about the house Negro and the field Negro, When you talk about that, when you look at John Horn standing next to Jeff Good and go play it, say it side by side. Play Malcolm X, the House Negro and the Field Negro, and pull up every article with John Horn and Jeff Good in it together. It talks about when the master's sick. What's wrong, boss? We sick? You see him standing with Jeff Horn. Jeff talking about something. We're doing great. That's right, boss. We rising. Jackson rising. We rising. You just see him just repeating. He can't say nothing else.
You want to know what Jeff Good said? If I was to fall out and pass out from a heart attack, I know John Horn would come and lift me up. Man, shut your bitch ass up. Man.
No. What's wrong, boss? We sick. The damn master know you sick. Let me tell you something. When John was running, Jeff Good said something very particular. You remember I pulled that and I said I didn't get to put the video up. Jeff said John was trained up the right way. I promise y'all, he said that. I'll pull it. I'm gonna put it up. Jeff Good said John was trained up the right way. But that's what I think of when I see him standing next to Jeff Good in downtown Jackson Partners. They put their money together, put $500,000, $1 million into him, and he's giving it all away. He's doing what he's supposed to do for him. So we talk,
and I hate that you got good food at that restaurant that you own, bro. I hate that you the owner of that restaurant.
No.
And it's majority of black people at that restaurant working for this dude, bro. And he treat him like shit. I just want y'all to know that. Jeff Good, Broad Street. I called him out.
Yes, sir. You wait. He do. Listen,
Treat him
one
like
of the employees just said I work for him. He do. He treats him like garbage.
I literally like about a few years ago, I worked for him. He don't even pay them nothing.
Nah.
And this is the man that said John Horn was trained up right. And downtown, the restaurants, downtown Jackson Park, and they say nothing when Dow Mobile was murdered and it was played off like he died. You remember Dow, we went to everything for him. All of a sudden, downtown Jackson Partners and all of y'all didn't have nothing to say then. Then it wasn't about Jackson Rising when that boy got found. His family told us, the young man Dow that got found in the Pearl River, his family told us who saw the pictures. We sat at that restaurant on Old County Line. They told us they found him with knife wounds all over his body and his hands bound. This is what his family, it was like from they came up from where they were from and sat down and talked. This is what his family said.
We pulled up on the dude. We called him.
Yeah, he was out there, one of the owners or one of the in-laws or something of Dow.
Yeah.
Dow gets murdered. He's over there. He was protesting for inmates on death row. Get them off of death row. What about
in front of Tate, what's his name? Tate Reed.
Tate Reed's residence.
Yeah.
What about when Dow got murdered and everyone got quiet over there in the restaurants where he worked at, where his peoples, why his peoples were from? And all of a sudden, the investigation gets yanked out of Capitol. A black woman from Capitol Police is over. It gets yanked out of her hand, and then no charges come. You got to make it make sense.
And his brother still on justice. He's still.
Y'all are playing just like when Grady Bully got charged for the shooting.
Yeah.
You bring the chief there, and she bails out in the middle of the night after a police officer charges her with the crime, and then it all gets removed.
Jalen Lewis.
And y'all just like Brother Jay, y'all just sit back and act like you don't know how it happened. Well, if you like it, I love it. Not the Jalen Lewis part. I'm talking about that.
I don't know.
Brother, that part is when it gets us heated up.
Shout out to bro. That was my homie. Jalen Lewis.
Shout out to his mother as well and his whole family.
Yeah.
Shout out to Markel. Just everybody involved with bringing that and keeping that in the forefront. And you realize that Chief Brackney and sister, I don't think you just don't know. That's the past. But John can't stop her from seeing the paper and from seeing social media. And we rocking right now, thanks to y'all. We in the atmosphere. We popping 8,000, 9,000, 25,000. Pretty soon you ain't gonna say you don't see us. And when you're sitting in front of City Hall and you hurt people's feelings with that, Chief, but I don't think you meant to. When that question came and said you came from Virginia breaking up a racist ring. Now we up under some of the most racist police I'm talking about Capitol. I ain't talking about the Goon Squad. I'm just talking about Capitol. Some of the personnel. Listen, I had police officers come and tell me I'm the trusted one, folks telling they know I put it forward. Listen, y'all in trouble. What you mean we in trouble? This is a police officer working for Capitol at the time. He said, man, they hiring all the shooters from JPD that the moment took off the force. They hiring all the shooters from Brandon and from Rankin County to just want to shoot something. That's who they hiring. He said, if I were you, I would talk to you young people about not giving them a reason. I have a young man I mentored that got pulled over and I heard it happening. The cop jumped out and he had a legal firearm sitting on the seat next to him and he didn't try to reach for anything. And so I said, if you move, I'll shoot you 63 times. I heard this on speakerphone. He didn't commit no crime. That's how they approaching him. This black officer pulled me over from Capitol. We're gonna land this because we gonna think about our engineering as well. You know that?
Yeah, we'll talk all day.
Yeah, we'll talk all day, but we got people that got to do things. But a black Capitol officer pulled me over. As soon as he pulled me over, I had my license waiting in my hand because I keep it where I can grab it. And black, just little compartment. Find someone you can reach license without reaching nowhere, right? Because once you get them and all that's over, they're in trouble and they know it, right? So I had my license ready for them. Let him do everything. I said, young man, why would you speed up on me like that? My heart rate has reached up like 5 times the heart rate. I'm already having problems. He's a black boy. I said, are you from Jackson, young man? Oh, no, sir, I'm from Byram. I said, what's your parents' last name, son? He gave me his parents' last name, and I said, I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to talk to them. I'm not going to put you on blast. But I said, you just took an elder in your community, ran my heart rate up 1,000 times. You knew I wasn't doing anything wrong. You've just been told to harass all black men downtown. Man's head dropped to his chin the whole time. You remember me, sir? You remember us? I didn't talk about you. I was true to my word. I waited to bump into your peoples. But that's what they have our own young men doing. And Capitol is just sick in what they allow them to do. The man that banged the dude's head into the car, he was out on 3 other, he wasn't out there in charge. We had 3 other cases against him for violence.
Jeffrey Walker.
Wasn't his daddy part of Goon Squad, like a chief, a sheriff or something?
I think that was.
He was the son-in-law.
I think that was Jalen Lewis' case.
Okay, that was Jalen Lewis' case. Okay. But yeah, as we land this, and we're going to land this, there's too much. And the reason we do this, you all, so you can go back and listen to this, because we know that we can talk to you on Monday and the money's good enough on Tuesday that we wouldn't be here. We know that we could talk to you 90.1. We said it to them, didn't we? Yeah. We know we could be there Tuesday and the money just comes too good to them on Thursday. Guess what? Buy Facebook off. Let me see you do that. Pull that off. Why do you think we set it up that way and bought you all to Facebook, YouTube? Let me see you pull that off. And we're going to open up 2 more pages. Get you all linked up on there. Let me see you pull that off.
We got so many ways, y'all don't even understand.
Our engineer said something amazing. So when people push back up against us, it's an admission of their guilt. So when we start getting silenced, wherever we're silenced, you just assume they took the bag. Because you know we didn't take it. You just assume they took the bag. That's why you only good for today to me. Wherever I am, you good today. We'll see what you do tomorrow. That's why we had 90.1. What did we say? We got to get another outlet. We believe digital, salute. But wherever we go, the one way you'll know if they're in on the bag, if they're in on the take, is if we're not there the next day. And now we done put them all in a position where they got to choose you or their pockets. Because we ain't getting nothing out of this.
That's some deadly shit.
But a whole lot of pain. And that's what you getting. So we good with that. But we're going to put them in position to choose you or this money. And I've been positioned that way probably 30 times since I've started this chain. So is he. And when they offered, I said, let me see the money so I can snatch it from you and smack you. I mean, I'll strong arm rob you because it's a crime for you to try to bribe me. Yeah. If you do the first crime, I'll do the second one and we together in it. I'll definitely take your money and then put you on tape. Shut up. Tell everybody what you just said. Go back to 94 on you just a little bit, right? I grew up listening to MOP, you know. It's a different type of music there. Annie Up is a different type of music, you know.
MOP was that?
Mash Out Posse, you know, it's a different group from back in the day.
What's the other
they
song?
say Annie Up, Jack that fool.
Oh, yeah,
you want big money, kidnap that fool. That's and when we say proverbially speaking, I'm not just going to let you talk to me. I'm going to kidnap what you said and tell everybody about it. I believe in putting my foot in your neck and pushing your Adam's apple out the back of your throat because I've had a foot put on my neck before. I've been incarcerated. I've been treated like a piece of, not even an animal, a doll. I've been told to strip down naked while all the COs put black tape over their badges. Maybe you didn't hear that in my dialect, did you? Oh, he's so intelligent and well-spoken. Well, yeah, Negroes that get locked up can learn how to read and speak well, too. I thought you learned that from Brother Malcolm. Clearly you didn't. Clearly you didn't. So we're going to have to show you one more time. We're going to spin the block on it. So Gabriel Prado, we're going to continue to talk about your gas stations that are coded as supermarkets. After they close down Food Depot, after they close down every gas station they can, you got 17 gas stations coded as supermarkets. So that means Jackson cannot be coded as a food desert. And who knows what type of tax incentives your brother, your Gabriel's getting with Prado Lofts because you got these 17 gas stations set up. Because I would put my money on it. Where the hell is JSU? Where the hell is Tougaloo's political department? Where the hell is Alcorn State? Where the hell is Valley State? Is Gabriel Prado getting any tax benefits based off the fact that his brother got 17 grocery stores in Jackson? Where are these damn HBCUs? I wish my granddad, I'd tell him, call Mays up. Call Willie Mays. Tell him it ain't working. Tell them these Negroes ain't doing what they're supposed to do with the bag. God dang, I wish we could put a call into them ancestors, man. Some of them strong men and women. Tell them what you down here doing. I'm talking about you business leaders. I'm talking about you mayors. I'm talking about you governors. Everyone from the mayor Horn to Benny Thompson and everyone in between, from Zakia to who was the guy that called on us, Ron, to every one of them. I'm just naming every single one of them. The Gibbs, the Crudups, the judge just sitting there, the city council, the guy that was in Hattiesburg for 30 years, all of you all. Them greats are looking down at you like you jellyback niggas ain't doing nothing. And my grandfather used that word in certain situations, and that's one of them. When he saw another black man not taking care of his family, it came out.
Jellyback nigga.
Yeah, and that's what the old school used to use that word for. And you walk around the young ones using that word. Well, so did your granddaddy, you weak bat. You just don't know because you trying to be something different. You want the bag. You want the money. Your ancestors died for a vote and a chance to be self-independent, and you want a damn dollar. And you mad because I don't value that dollar. With George Washington's face on it, who yanked teeth out of black people and put them in his mouth. Who chased a slave down who escaped from him, down to his death, because she had the nerve to run from him. Or was that Thomas Jefferson? It don't matter. I wish one of them would file cease and desist. This who you're talking about. These are ancestors, and these weak back Negroes, there is not one. I'm calling them all out. There's not one. I give you a shout out here and there. Rep. Fabian Nelson stood up and said something against the criminalization of our babies, trying to say that there's adults every time, and he stood on that. He's new. We'll see if that lasts. I'm clapping every time it happens. I have got no faith in the politicians. I've got no faith in the preachers. I've got no faith in imams. I've got no faith in the school superintendents. I've got no faith in any of you all. You've showed your hand over and over again, and that you're more interested in how your tie looks, how your bald head looks, how your beamer looks, how straight your back sits in that chair, and whether the whites in Madison think you're a real human or not. You weak back. You are the weak 10th. We've turned from the talented 10th to the weak 10th. So even if we didn't like the idea of the talented 10th, at least we knew they had some talent. W.E.B. Du Bois style. These Negroes are talentless. All they could do is dress well. All they could do that, though. They could take pictures and fix their beards and look good and get the pimples plucked off their face and tell you how we eat here. And we have, that's because you're taking his money. You a house nigga. Remember Malcolm said, and we still got some house niggas running around here. You heard the speeches. You joined the movement. This is part 2. You think we wasn't going to say it? You remember our ballad or the ballad or the bullet? Yeah, we grew up listening to those. All of us grew up listening to them speeches. What's the wrong, boss? We sick? Well, the other person, if it's a strong wind on that fire, the field slave blows. We trying to burn down the master's house. What did Mayor Lumumba say? You can't tear down the master's house with his own tools. Get that man out of here. The hell does he think this is? Bringing a man here that doesn't know anything about Malcolm. Johnny boy, come here. Who's your favorite act? Remember Othello? That was what I loved playing the best. We got the right one. We got Johnny, we got Wingate, and we got Clarence Thomas. We got the 3 people. We good. And look at that. They done ran the ballots with them 3 people for 30, 40, 50 years. You got Johnny at the state level. Now he's at the city level. He just destroying stuff. Who knows what he did for 30 years in HUD? Who knows what the hell he did for them 30 years watching this garbage? But this is what you have to, and was there, what else, young man, take us out, because you know me. What else did we talk about that we want to stay on? But what started that whole rant, remember, was the fact that teachers are reporting that their students are coming into school smelling noticeably different after 1,500 this month. 1,500 residents have been cut off. Young girls are washing themselves in the bathroom, bird baths, and they should not even know what a bird bath is at that age. Right? Are washing themselves in there. These houses with 4 or 5, these babies are ACT tested. I know you don't care about these children, John Horn. I know you don't care about these children, Brian Grizel. I know you're not caring about these children to the rest of that whole city council. I ain't gonna waste our time. But these babies are taking ACTs. I'm a father of 6. Maybe I'm more close. No, I'm not. Y'all know what ACTs are. Man, my daughter's not showering and getting in the morning and not showering and going to do good on the ACT. She's walking out with her hands down, hoping the boy doesn't smell her. She's not a 14-year-old girl that stinks is not thinking about no damn ACT.
How you create motherfucker that's gonna be stronger than you?
But that's good. That's right. You are weak men. You men are so weak. City council, you are all so weak. You're creating very, very, very strong men coming behind you. Big up to you for that.
That's
If
weak,
nothing
Greg.
else, you creating monsters behind you.
Yep.
And not just him, through these schools, these young people don't care nothing about what you're saying because they know you don't care about them. So they don't care. They're not scared of you. They're not scared of Governor Tate. And stop running around trying to make them scared. And all you old Negroes in them comments, stop understanding the respect our young people say when they say, I am not my ancestor. What they're doing is they're respecting their ancestors. And you coward yellowback bastards are not. What they're saying is my ancestor couldn't stand up without being shot down. And I can. So I'm going to stand up every time, even if I lose a week's worth of check, even if I get fired, even if I lose that job, even if I lose that position, even if you put me in jail and I'm a woman who never been in jail before. These young ones that get locked up out of nowhere, they'll go from getting their nails done to getting locked up, no problem, and sit in your jail. Don't that remind you of the Freedom Summer? These young ones are different, and you need that. But the difference in the Freedom Summer is they listen to you. Those were great. The difference now is the young people, we got to go Brody. They got to go Brody. You're not worthy. You're not trusted. So these young people have to do it themselves, and I love it. They stand up at your Democratic meetings and tell you, we just said reparation. What the hell are you hearing? The man said in his Democratic meeting, everyone under 40, raise your hand. 4 hands went up. He looked at the rest of it and said, y'all in trouble. Y'all in trouble. And this is older black people that control all the politics that were in this room. He said, let me tell you what we want. We want a check. It's not all about a check, but we want a check. No check, no vote. And you heard the black politicians. It was this big ass that went through the room. Google it. Oh, you can't take the vote from us. We're black Democrats. We control the black vote. There you go. You did. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Yeah, my children at home. Yeah, you played my son. Yeah, you did all these things to try to hurt people. Yeah, trees are falling on a man's house. Yeah, people are trying to pull us away. Yeah, you said no to every job I tried to go for, and God still made a way for me after you took everything, tried to take everything, right? But they waking up is the thing. This is all worth it. This is all worth it because of the people are waking up. So call us, send us an inbox, please, on that level. If your child is experiencing this, I don't want to hear that you didn't pay your bill. Just call us and tell us what you all are going through, okay? We've heard reports that people are scared of Dr. Green. I know that's not true. And I'm going to say that. I'm going to speak that into existence. No. I'm saying you better not be, because you got a friend right here. You better not be. I've heard that from multiple people. I said, why are the people not talking? And people are saying, well, some of them are afraid of the superintendent.
Dr.
I'm
Green.
speaking out. Yeah, that, for real. That better not be why. And if it is, go and send me a kite and tell me what's happening. And we'll talk about it after we research it. We're going to research them putting barrel locks on certain neighborhoods. Valley North had 19 people cut off, no barrel locks. We already know, we've been sent pictures showing us South and West Jackson has barrel locks all over the meters, okay? So why did Valley North not get barrel locks put on there, but the black neighborhoods do? We just got to find out why. You notice when you just speak the truth and ask why, you can win. Okay. Let me see, what else did we talk about? Monday, the 27th, 6 p.m.
The public hearing.
That's right. The public hearing. That's how you can sign the actual petition.
In the middle of battle, he don't miss.
In the middle of the battle, you don't. We can't. City Hall is still owned by the Masons, the white Masons. We need to check that out because we may need to start talking about changing venues of our meetings. Yeah. Because if the people that control that have the history that white Masons in Mississippi have, that may be a place that's so bugged, everything you say is being counted before you can even make it home. And then we've got to still keep in mind that Tougaloo fire I talked about on Easter Sunday, where the Funches house that was built in 42 was burnt down, and the neighborhoods all are saying the reason that burned is because there was no water in those hydrants. We then said that Ted Hennepin, Jackson Water, have to put the numbers of hydrants that are working and that aren't up, but they don't have to put where they're not working. We then said there are, out of 10,000, we only have 3,000 that are working, and we said there's 1,000 they don't even know where they are that aren't working, right? Now you add to that, we have a captain that was over 3 people last year that's now over the whole fire department. Add to that, you got fires popping off left and right. We just lost 3 fire trucks. We just lost a person. Put all these together in the big pot. You don't need to make accusations. Something's wrong. Mama, something's not right. Okay? And the last thing that we touched on was, why isn't the fire department in the city of Jackson? We gave you so much to send to your city councilman today. City council, when are you going to find out what hydrants are working so my house is the next one that burns in the middle of the night and we die? Next time you see Rashawn, ask him, why aren't y'all going out to these and checking them yourself if Ted's not doing what he's supposed to be doing? And why aren't you making a big fuss about the fact he's not doing? How would we have known this? You got to start punching them people that's sitting watching it happen and not telling you.
Yep.
What would you do to somebody if you walked in a bathroom and a crocodile was in it and bit your child's leg off, and the person walked right out that bathroom and didn't tell you? Man, you'd be all upside that person, said acting like they freaking raised the crocodile and sicked it on your child. But you got these politicians, their job is to alert you. That's the reason they're paid. And they sat by and they say nothing. So we got to do that. And just remember things. Like, I just remember, Chief Rashawn, he's with Local 18, what's that, 1807? It's a racist local organization that is known for helping black people and not helping white people and not helping black people. Don't remember, it then Captain Rashawn, but when Mayor Lumumba was running against Horn, as soon as it hit a certain point, then a few of them went and supported Horn. Not the whole fire department and not the chief. It was very unprecedented then either. You usually see the chief leading. A few of them went out on their own. And then Rashawn, which is one of them that went on his own, happened to get elevated to fire captain. This is the part where you have to say, I might have been born yesterday, but I stayed up all night. So you broke from the rest of the fire department with Local 1807, the same local that stole the Chief Willie's work and said they did it. Rashawn and your buddies left and you supported Horn, which is nothing wrong with you doing that. And then Horn went and made you captain. Ooh, what's that? Ooh, I'm going to do that to you. That's what should be behind that. And we're going to bring some sound effects next time. Young M.A. going to be with us. But that's sticky right there. We got to look at the fact that Mayor Lumumba was pushed so hard against. Y'all remember other things. Y'all remember when Ken Wilson was running for mayor. It wasn't a joke that Rashawn wanted him to be in there. And there was friction between him and the previous administration once that happened. So when you start asking why things happen, why was the previous mayor not getting support? Why was this happening? Just watch. Because that knowledge, don't go angry at nobody, just know. So when they come to you next time, you be like, no, man, that Ken Wilson, you just as mad because he didn't get in there, so you wouldn't support Lumumba, so you went against him, and then you got rewarded for it by becoming a captain, which I love all of that if we weren't being put at danger by someone that only had 4 people under him now being over our whole city. I would love it if we didn't get reports from fire workers that fire stations were being shut down overnight to avoid having to pay overtime, which means your response time went from 6 minutes to at best 12 minutes and maybe more. That was fine before we find out that there's supposed to be 3 to 4 people on a ladder truck, the one that burnt up, that $2 million almost truck, and that the chief is running, the new chief, the old captain is running it with 1 to 2 people. Then we found out that that's unsafe. It would have been fine before we found out that they're pulling up the locations where there's no water in the hydrant, which means a firefighter can die. We're going to call Chief Willie and ask him what he would have done if he knew he was showing to locations with just enough water to put the fire out. And if one of his firefighters started burning, he couldn't save them.
Yeah,
where'd he go?
We recently spoke to Chief Willie at the garden thing.
That's right. Yeah. We saw him the other night.
And he was like, there's some more stuff he's going to bring to the table because he's trying to, it was some type, what's it called? ISP, ASP, something like that.
You talking about that insurance?
Yeah, insurance. Yeah. He was going to take that to them and see what that was about. And he was going to get some more information on that.
Yep. No, but absolutely right. So we're going to bring Chief back on.
Yeah,
he was talking about your insurance going up and those things. So I do that recap, you all, just to make sure you understand everything we went over, okay? Because every day we have one rule and we're going to end it here. We live every day like we'll be on air forever, and we live every day like we're going to get cut off tonight, because that's our reality. You've been sticking with us, so you know you can reach us if that happens. But you have got to love yourself and your children as much as these people controlling our resources love themselves in their pocket. What do you want to give him a laugh word, young man? You want to take us out?
Well, I'll do a quote.
A
quote I made up.
Let's do it.
I realized that I was never dying to live. I was living to die. That's simple.
Yeah, there's more power to that than you know, y'all. Say it one more time for me, young man.
I realized I was never dying to live. I'm living to die.
Yes. And a young man is in good company. And I can't say this around my wife or my daughters. They don't get it. My sons get it. My daughters think I'm trying to, talk about my death. Man, you're living to die. You're not waiting to die. That's what you got put here for. One thing for certain, we want to go see him. But we worrying about what's here over that. You're supposed to want to live. I want my baby to grow. I got a 5-year-old. I want her to do so many things. But if I want her to live, I've got to be ready to die. As a black man in Mississippi. My great-great-great-grandmommy taught me that. And I never talked to her. You gotta be willing to die in Mississippi. And these black men, Mayor Horn, Grizel on the city council, is different than the brother. Hartley, Crudup, Gibbs, the brother that called in the radio station trying to shut us down. These men came from negotiators, straw bosses, black slave owners, union organizers. I'm from a local 2108. A union organizer is the one man that knows the racist white man, the good white man. He knows everybody, and that's John Horn's father. And so John Horn was raised understanding how to manipulate every situation, because I was in a union, and that's what we did. Not in a bad way. You're trying to manipulate everything so your people get what they want. The union is soulless in a good way. They're going to fight for you anyway. Well, I'm going to be quiet. Some phone lines may go off, but they'll do whatever they have to do to get their people what their people deserve. They'll do whatever they have to do to get their people that. And that's what John Horn comes from. With a degree as a thespian, an actor. Ronald Reagan did this to us. Ronald Reagan did Western Cowboys, bought that act on TV, tricked them people right into the privatized prison industry age. Now you got John Horn. Look him up, his acting. He's Othello with a white sheet around him. So happy that he's fitting in. This man's living in an alter reality. So all you older black men that tell me he won't pick your calls up, you're an actor. You're not a real person, sir. You're not a real person. Remember the brother in front of the radio station, older brother that knew him, and what you told me? You told me the only way I can get John now is if I call his wife. He was right there. Didn't he say that? Mm-hmm. Only way I can get John now if I call his wife.
You don't pick up?
You're fickle and uneducated is what he said. And I promise you, when he made that comment, it's got to be when Downtown Jackson Partners said, how are we going to get this done? You're telling me we're going to have a St. Patty's Day with all our businesses? You're telling me we're going to get the city to foot our festivals? You're telling me that in this city where Lumumba made us hire black people all the time, you're telling us we're going to get to do what we want without hiring Negroes? The first 60 days you can give us contracts, but what if they ask about the RFQs? They're fickle and uneducated. They won't. But you were wrong. So, as we land this plane, we plan to be right back with you. Same time, same place. You got a plan for us not to be.
Feel like 2 shows, didn't it?
And that's what you got to do every day. We moved it into a different level now, you all. We talk about people spending $150 million and they plan on making $1 billion. They're going to put every penny they can to shut this up. But you're spending your money at the wrong place. We don't attend that bank, right? So we'll see every one of you Monday. We will see you at the, read it out to us. We'll see you at the public hearing. And I just want to read that again, and then we're going to get off air. It's at the Central United Methodist Church Family Life Center, 517 North Ferris Street, Jackson, Mississippi, Monday, April 27th at 6 p.m. I'll post this on our website. So we'll be right back, same place, same time tomorrow. We'll still be live. If you don't catch us on one network, always go to, if you ever wonder why we're not on a certain place, go to our Facebook page. We'll always be live there.
From your host, Keanu Perry.
Co-host, Tariq Abdul-Tawwab. We love you, Jackson. Continue to make it make sense. And we appreciate it.